Warning: this program may contain explicit language that may be considered offensive or inappropriate to children and some adults.
The following content is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sip and Kiki. It's Sunday night, and we just finished watching Real Housewives of Atlanta and Married to Medicine. So you know we're going to do our reality show recap. Also tonight, we're going to be covering the Quavo and Sweetie back and forth. We're going to be talking about Bad Baby versus Dr. Phil. We're going to talk about Nick Cannon and his drama. And then we're also going to be talking about P. Diddy getting dragged on Twitter. But first, let's start with this snooze fest of a season. Listen. But I will say these last two episodes seem like they will be the most exciting of the season. Especially
oh God, how many episodes were there? Jesus.
I feel like they should have let Drew and Toya's beef be more central throughout the whole season, because it's clear like that was the most interesting thing that was new, that was fresh. It wasn't Kenya trying to like doing her best to stay relevant. Boy. Okay, so let's talk. So I actually want to start with Kenya. Why does she keep allowing this man to straight embarrass her? Like every time, I feel so bad for her partially if she wasn't so horrible of a person. Oh, also, if you're watching us at all, please let us know what you thought about tonight's episode. Please like weigh in on the conversation so we can know whether we're being biased or not. So every time Mark does anything sweet towards Kenya, my thought as a viewer is, Kenya, he's about to do something horrible to you.
Right. Gaslighting at its finest. Shit.
So she's over there like smiling like, oh my God, he showed up early. Let me leave Candy's her event early. And I'm thinking to myself, Kenya, like, no, boo, like he gonna pull you in private and do some sweet stuff. And then in public, he's just straight up gonna drag you. And sure enough, if you saw the preview for next episode, the dragging has commenced. Man. So how do y'all feel about Kenya and Mark? I love when Candy goes, I don't understand why she just doesn't. Why don't y'all just get a divorce? Why do you think Kenya just won't divorce this man?
If I'm being honest, this is what I think. This is just from what I've seen. I don't know these people. I don't know any to be a fact. I don't think that like bruh is gaslighting her or playing her. I think she be lying to us on camera. Like I don't think we're getting I don't think Mark ever said, I want to get back with you. Like, if you notice when he says he wants to go to counseling, he might want to go to counseling to co-parent with your child. Like, I don't get the vibe that he's telling her, I want to be with you, and then like turning around and like burning her. I think he's been consistent with what he's telling her, and she's playing a part for TV. Now, the issue is because he's not playing the game, she looks silly because he's not gonna come on the show like next week in the trailer. He's not gonna come on camera and discuss his issues with you. He done already said before that he don't want to be on this show. He don't want to be a part of the show. He don't really even like what reality TV is about and kind of how it represents people. So I don't know why she continues to make him a part of her story. Like, she could easily just say, yeah, me and Mark are going to co-parent and not speak about him at all, and she would come out looking way better than she looks currently.
Let me say this. I think it's interesting because I don't agree with you. This is why. That's Kenya Moore, bro. Like, even if you didn't know who she was when you met her, somehow, a quick Google search throws that away, and you still got involved with her. Knowing that getting involved, like if I get involved with a reality star, I know my life, even if it's not me getting on camera, will be at least discussed, because that's how she makes most of her money. So I think I don't know what he's getting out of it, but I don't think that he's afraid of his business being talked about on camera. I think he's playing that plausible deniability by not saying things and not doing things. And I think that's why he's low-key background playing her and in the front of the camera, giving them just enough to make it seem like he can say, oh, I don't want nothing to do with her.
I don't think it's about him not wanting his business on camera, but like if you remember when Eva was on the show, Eva's husband might have been on the show a handful of times, but like Eva, you didn't see Eva and her husband having in-depth conversations about their relationship.
Although that's camera. A little different though. Because that was due to the fact that he was running for the Atlanta city mayor.
But my whole point is though, that was a choice the two of them made to say, okay, you're on a reality show and I get that I have to be on it and be a part of it, but we're not. In essence, you get to choose what you showcase, right? Like nobody is telling you that you have to get on camera and have specifically like, I don't get what made her think that he was going to get on camera with a therapist and discuss their issues. Nothing about what I've seen from Mark when he was on the show, nothing I've seen from him off the show would make me think that unless he said to her, yo, I'm going to be here I'm going to fly and I'm going to be here, I promise you. I don't. And for me, Kenya has a very, very strong track record about lying about her relationships. Literally, she started the show. She literally started on the show with a fake ass relationship and continued lying about it after the fact. And Walter ended up exposing her and was like, "Yo, straight up, she ain't even my girlfriend." Like,
right.
Can we confirm that other than Walter, who, okay, that to me was the weirdest situation because I was like, Kenya, like, even though I don't like your attitude, you're a bad one. You're a bad one. You can definitely get not a Walter. You can do better than Walter. I don't know. I just feel like in general.
I mean, by looks, she can get somebody better than a Walter, but can she keep somebody better than a Walter based on her personality?
Talk about it.
That's the thing.
So do y'all think, because they're still not divorced? That's another thing. Like you're saying, like, I feel like if he really didn't want nothing to do with her, he could just file for divorce.
He did file.
He filed for he filed for divorce in New York, where she doesn't live, so it's not applicable. Like they even said,
so it is applicable.
He live in New York. I mean, what was
remember, I don't know the law. I don't know the law, but I know the attorney and her when he filed was like, this doesn't even count because she doesn't live in New York, and that I don't know the rules, but
he don't live in Atlanta. So I mean, like that's kind of like neither here nor there. Okay, so if he don't file in New York, he files in Atlanta. He don't live in Atlanta, so does he even have standing in a court? And I don't know the ins and outs of divorce law.
But I'm just saying, I feel like they're both playing with each other. And I honestly, this is what I really feel like. I feel like Mark is one of those manipulative men who, because let's be clear, Kenya was ready. I'm gonna sound so bad. Kenya's kind of a pick-me.
She is a pick-me.
Kenya's kind of a pick-me. And because you see her energy normally when people like come at her, her energy's one way, but with Mark, she's totally like, whatever you want to do. She gave up. She went off of freaking the show because of him. You know what I'm saying? Like she totally was ready to do whatever he wants. And I think he knows that and uses that to his advantage. But he also knows the image that she has and that people look at her like, so if she's going to say or do something, people are going to question it.
It just feels like Kenya is obsessed with projecting this image of having a great marriage and stuff on TV. And that doesn't seem like it's ever been the reality of what her situation is. And Kenya isn't dumb. Kenya knows for a fact that the relationship she had or has with Mark is not what she wants to project on TV. And it just always seems like she's trying to put up. It's just like Phaedra was. Remember when Phaedra was pregnant and trying to put up that facade with Apollo? It feels very much like that kind of situation for me. I don't trust. I mean, I'm not trying to defend Mark. Mark probably is not a saint. I don't know him from a can of paint. But from what Kenya has shown us on TV, I can only go by past behavior, what new behavior is. And so past behavior would dictate that you are purposely leaving out details to make it seem like your marriage and relationship is one way. Like, yeah, he came to the daughter's party, but that's why he came. He did not come to Atlanta to chill with you. He didn't come to Atlanta to hang out with you. He came to Atlanta solely because it was the birthday party for his child. And kudos to him for being a present father and like, you know.
Yeah, doing what he got to do.
Doing what he got to do.
Now, the commenter, Jake, I got to disagree. I don't think she's dumb. I think she's delusional, but I don't think she's dumb by any means. But she's very delusional.
Okay. So I've prepared a few things I want to touch on before we move on. Okay. So as I'm watching, these are some of my thoughts, child. These are some of my thoughts.
Come on,
Portia. So when Marlo tried to apologize right at the beginning of the Blaze dinner, I was actually kind of taken aback because I didn't expect that from Marlo. You know what I'm saying? I didn't expect that type of energy from Marlo. And it was very much, she didn't, you know how some people apologize without taking any accountability? That wasn't that kind of apology. She flat out was like, I was doing too much. I shouldn't have said what I said. I told the other ladies, I'm sorry, but you weren't there, so I wouldn't tell you. And she did it in public. And it wasn't like she didn't dodge no fault. And Portia just didn't even, like, I love Portia right now. I say right now. But I was actually a little disappointed in Portia in that moment because I felt like even if you didn't like her and you don't have to be friends with her, but she came to you with a very like straightforward apology, you could have at least acknowledged that she did that. You didn't have to change how you felt about dealing with her, but you could have at least been like, you know, thank you for apologizing.
But why?
Because that's what adults do.
But if she felt that that Marlo was full of shit, why even give into that energy?
Did you feel like her apology was full of shit?
Yes. In fact,
I think Marlo has read the room, and I think Marlo was like, if I want to maintain even my status as a friend, I better eat crow and just get through it. And I think Portia felt that and was like, yeah, I'm not gonna fall into your bullshit.
Can I give Marlo the riot at real quick? Because I'm hot. So you brought and I'm hot about this shit. So fuck Marlo. And I used to go up for that bitch, but fuck her. And let me tell you why. The reason why Portia didn't accept her fucking apology was because she know that bitch for her fucking works. And she read, so I don't know if y'all saw, Marlo did like an interview or like there was some kind of like show thing. It was like Marlo and Candy and a couple of the other ladies. And so Marlo was like, well, you know what? Portia better stop doing this because I'll tell everything I know. It's some things that I haven't said. And here's my thing. If you knew what happened and you saw all this stuff, then why were you asking Kenya if XYZ happened? Why did you ask Portia did XYZ happen? You did it because you wanted a moment. You wanted a moment. You wanted a storyline. Because Portia had a private conversation with you where y'all had seen between you and her to hash out y'all's issues. And you brought the shit back up to have a moment on camera. And then Portia didn't accept your apology simply because you had read the room and knew that it had kind of went left. And it didn't go the way you thought it was gonna go. So I don't blame Portia. I wouldn't have accepted. Like I don't accept bullshit. I can see through bullshit. And I don't care how genuine the apology may have seemed. Maybe it was genuine. It doesn't change the fact that me and you were real friends, and you were willing to throw me under the bus simply because you wanted to have a moment in the spotlight. Clearly, your time on this show and you getting camera time is more important than whatever friendship we may have had. Yep. And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Hey, come on now.
That was a read. Yes. I wish that fit perfectly into a minute. I hope it did. Anyway, so look. Okay. And that was a read. That was a sipping Kiki. Okay.
Yes.
I agree. I changed my stance because now that you mention it, Marlo is. I'm sorry to say, Marlo has always been very calculated. She's always been very smart about how she maneuvers in and out of
opportunist.
So I can honestly say that yes, with Marlo, it probably did have a lot to do with her just trying to maintain her status on the show. Because let's be honest, not only is this good for fame, I don't even think Marlo cares about that fame. I think Marlo likes that check.
Boom, facts.
But wait, according to the checks, I mean, how much is it though?
I will tell you this: she was on Wendy Williams because Wendy Williams has been campaigning for her to get a peach for years.
Yes, she has.
She brought her on Wendy Williams. And then Wendy Williams was like, how do you make your money? Let's just be clear. How do you make your money?
Other than boosting.
And then she said that she was like, because she basically was saying, do you have a sugar daddy or not? She mentioned all this stuff about selling purses, blah, blah, blah. But then she's like, also, I've been on the #1 rated show on this network for almost 10 years. And she has. She might not have been getting Nene checks or candy checks, but she was definitely getting a check, and it was enough to give her a revenue. And so I just think, and it was enough. Also, it wasn't $1,000 an episode because it was enough to make her friend hop, because she went from Nene's friend to Cynthia's friend to Kenya's friend to Candy's friend to Portia's friend. She's staying on that show. And I mean, you know what? I don't hate her, because let's be clear. I was watching with some people today, and they remind you this is a show.
Right.
It is a show, and she is doing what she needs to do to get her check. Like,
yes, she is.
It's a show.
It's probably a cute. Like, I would guess that she probably getting like $10K an episode.
How much y'all think she make an episode on the comments?
$10K. I think she make a solid $10K. Like, I think that's a nice.
Because I mean,
that's a nice number.
You're right. Because I think at the end of the day, she is great TV.
Okay.
Whether you love her or hate her.
So my next question: how do we feel about Mike Hill with Cynthia? I am totally. I know this is a boring topic, but I'm so happy that she's with him. I'm so happy that she's with him. I don't know, because I think watching her with Peter, in my opinion, not physically, but their relationship seemed abusive to me.
You think Peter was verbally abusive to Cynthia?
No, mentally.
No, I get what he's saying. I don't.
Not verbally, because abuse isn't always verbal and it's not always physical. Sometimes it is just pressure.
But maybe we shouldn't use the word abuse. I think.
Okay. What's a better word?
I think her and Peter had a strained relationship.
Okay.
And I think. And I think that is because I think Peter is. I think Peter, being the older Jamaican man that he is, I think he wants a more traditional type situation.
And that's just not what he got with her.
And that's not what he got
with
Cynthia. And
it
you
didn't
can like
help.
someone all day. I'm sorry.
No. My bad. But it also didn't help that Cynthia was making the money in relationship and Peter was always struggling.
Okay.
So finances is the #1 reason for divorce in the U.S.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
It is.
Listen, it's funny. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, "Listen, if I'm a sugar daddy, if I'm a sugar daddy and you cheating with other people, I better not find out about it." And they were like, "Oh, so you're one of those people?" I said, "Normally, no. Normally, like, I'm an open relationship type person. But if I'm paying you, that payment better be so that I can feel like I'm the only one."
Oh, well.
Okay.
Hello?
Bye.
Hello? That's part of your job, to make me feel like I'm the only one. You get all of this, whatever. All I need to do is feel like I'm the only one.
Well, announcement to the sugar babies. Know your role.
Okay. Talk about it.
No, hey, play your position. But I just want to say that I love that every interaction that we see of them, not every interaction, but for the most part, when we see them, they're laughing.
They seem like they're happy.
And I love that. Harmonious. And I also love that for Black people, that's what we get to see.
It's like it appears to be a healthy, full functioning adult relationship, which we don't get to see very often on reality TV.
Period.
Yes, they do seem equally yoked, as the spiritual, Christian folks say, So let's hope that continues.
And I think they benefit from the fact that they've both been married before. I think because they're older and they've been married before, they kind of know specifically what they want, the kind of life they want, the kind of relationship that they want. And hopefully they both have come to a meeting of the minds with the person that would say, hey, we both want the same things. We both have children the same age. We're kind of not retired, but we're kind of in this, we're living the second half of our lives and we're ready to do that together.
And they won't have the stress of building a family either. If they decide to them, their marriage is going to be just totally about the two of them.
That woman cannot have children. I'm pretty sure.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
No. Let's not do that.
I'm pretty sure she's past her childbearing years. I could be wrong.
There's no such thing with especially with Black women.
Fair, because Janet Jackson had a whole baby in her late 40s. So
right. And either way, people's ability to reproduce is not something I don't want to step into that, because for some people it could be touchy whether they were never able to produce or not. So either way, though, I'm happy that they're happy. Love that Black love.
Well, can we talk about how Cynthia was being approved in this episode once again?
Approved? Cynthia's always approved. Cynthia's that
once
prude.
again, right? Talk about what's motorboating.
Cynthia's that
Like,
prude.
come on,
I think that's her
Cynthia.
kink. I think that's Cynthia's kink. That she likes to play the role and get turned out. I think that's her kink.
She is known as the face in the industry. She is known as the face.
Oh, shade. I think that's her kink though, because honestly, I know people with that kink. Where they like to pretend like they're innocent and just get.
You know what?
Face. Sorry.
Come on, face. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, so my next question.
Moving right along.
So LaToya, first of all, yes, Candy, for this. LaToya's blocking people's blessings, literally.
Okay.
First of all, that's why Candy's still on the show. But people are like, oh, she don't do nothing. But that's why Candy's on the show. Because she come through with stuff like that every once in a while. And this is like, yep, gift, mean, boom.
Done.
So
but I will say though, well, I'm sorry, go ahead. I apologize. Go ahead.
How do we feel about LaToya blocking the blessings? So if you didn't watch it, so essentially Drew said that she didn't feel comfortable letting the man who she was a prophet Lot perform the blessing on her child because of what he had going on with LaToya, because her understanding of it was that LaToya and him are now having a physical relationship, and it caused the dissolution of his engagement. It also caused other drama, and because of their history, she's just like, I don't want you blessing my baby. And
from a spiritual standpoint, I understand it. Because you don't let just anybody lay hands on your baby. And if she felt that dude wasn't up to par, because when you're a prophet or you're in a position of a spiritual title, you're supposed to be at a place that you're supposed to be at least above that, or at least trying to be above that. So when you're caught up in that and you have that energy on you, you don't want that touching your baby. So I get where Drew was coming from. Age. Exactly, because even though normally christenings happen like within the first few months of the baby being born.
But is this a christening?
It's supposed, they call it. It's a christening.
It's the equivalent of a christening.
Okay,
it's the equivalent of a christening, because typically with most Pentecostal or Baptist or within mainstream Christianity, you don't baptize a child until they're like old enough to really understand what baptism actually means. So you christen them, basically meaning you're giving them back to God.
Okay.
So I get what she was trying to state, but unfortunately, you deal with a secular world. So a lot of the secular world's like,
what is she talking about?
Right. And then not to mention,
I'm not a spiritual person either.
Well,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Plus, LaToya got Lot on the phone, which is interesting that the dude.
That was my last thing to talk about. Wait, hold on to it.
Okay, I'll hold on to that piece.
Hold on to that, because that's my last thing to talk
about. Here's my issue with Drew in this particular situation.
You got an issue with Drew? How?
I do.
Okay. Go ahead.
She has so much energy for this, but where was this energy when your husband was in Florida for 3 days and we didn't know where he was? Like that's my only thing. Like what you have
allegedly.
Wow, allegedly.
Not even allegedly. That he said he was in Florida.
But you said you added some extra things to what he was doing in Florida. Those are the alleged.
I don't know what.
Oh, you didn't? I must have imagined it. My bad.
I'm not putting.
Well, hell, I imagine too.
My whole issue is though, you have so much energy about something that may or may not have happened with this prophet and LaToya, which we don't know. We don't know what happened, if anything did happen, and that's 2 grown people that ain't even bringing you in their business. You have a lot of energy for that, but with your own personal situation, you don't keep that same energy. So I feel like whatever her issue with, it feels real. So she clearly has an issue with LaToya.
Okay, this is what I will say. I feel like this. Do not I hate it when I introduce somebody to someone that I know and then they bring drama to my life because of that introduction, especially when I introduce them on some business, healing, anything positive I'm trying to bring to the 2 of you, and then you in turn add extra drama. Now, because let's be clear, Drew got out and said this on TV. So she believed it, in my opinion. There's nothing I've seen so far in Drew that comes off that she's just stirring the pot. If she said this, she believed that to be true. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But my point is this: I understand her anger, not only about the christening. It's just like, bro, you made me feel like you needed help. And then when I tried to help you, you once again bit me in the face every chance you got. And then because let's be clear, she was drinking again.
But here's my question though. Let's just say, for sake of the argument, let's say that LaToya was fucking the prophet dude. Let's say she was, right?
Okay, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I think somebody else had a better chance than LaToya.
Hey,
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that too. Go ahead.
But let's
we got to get to that phone call.
The sake of the argument, let's say she was dealing with the pastor, right?
Okay.
The pastor and LaToya seem like they cool.
Prophet.
She FaceTimed the man and they talk. So whatever drama is happening isn't coming from LaToya and the prophet. The drama is coming from Drew. Because LaToya and the prophet are fine. From the phone call or the FaceTime we saw. They cool, they speaking, they fine. So the only drama that I'm seeing or that I've seen on camera is coming from Drew. Now my assumption
is it drama? And I'm just asking for clarity. Is it drama for Drew to be upset at the cause of the things that are happening off camera?
I don't, but this is my thing.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase. You're saying your only drama you're seeing from Drew, your only drama you're seeing from this situation is coming from Drew because she's the one talking about it on camera. She's bringing it to the camera. But all the stuff, if this is true, I'm sorry, if this is all true and this did all happen off camera, isn't that them bringing drama?
But here's my thing. The three people that are on the show that it involves, of the three, two of them don't have an issue. Drew has the issue. Now, like the pastor said, Drew only knows, I guess, what her assistant told her. From my recollection of the show, Drew
said he told her husband directly.
First of all, her husband's a liar. Not to be funny, her husband is a liar. Like, he is a whole ass liar. And anytime someone if your husband will lie to you about where the fuck he was, then he will lie about all kinds of other shit. I fully don't, but I'm sorry. I do not believe that prophet man told her husband that he broke up with his fiance because of LaToya. Like that. No, I just don't. I don't.
They cut a lot of scenes. This is true. I'm sorry to cut you off. Did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
They do cut a lot of scenes because, Shamia went on Facebook, on Instagram, and said that the reason she went so hard for the whole lipo thing tonight is because apparently Marlo made a comment about her and how she would steal her husband while they were in New Orleans. So they do cut a lot of scenes. Let's be clear, because
she was being nice then, because I would have dragged that bitch to hell had she said it to me.
Listen, I just think it's important to understand that, like, I'm just reading energies, right? And reading patterns. LaToya is reckless. Her behavior so far has been very like, I don't care. I'm doing it. And then, because even when she was pissing Kenya off and Kenya, as her friend, tried to pull her aside and talk to her, the energy she gave Kenya was like, she treated Kenya like she was a joke. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so to me, when I'm looking at her and Drew, I can get why Drew would be mad. Like, this is a person that she decided out of the kindness of her heart, even though they were beefing back and forth, to take care of, and then it feels like that's just being thrown back in her face as a negative. So I can understand why Drew is so incensed by it.
I believe Drew is upset. Let me be clear. I believe Drew is genuinely upset at LaToya. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's upset about this. I think this is what she's. What do
you think she's upset about?
I have no idea, because I don't. I refuse. It doesn't make. It does. If it doesn't make sense, it's probably not true, as Judge Judy says. And it doesn't make sense to me that you would be this upset at LaToya simply because you think that LaToya and this man are having a consensual relationship. Because even if for the sake of argument, let's say they are together, it's consensual. and the man ain't even with his fiance no more. So he did what we would expect someone to do, which if you don't like somebody anymore and you meet somebody new, you should break up with the old person that you don't want anymore.
That.
Yeah,
so
but
did.
see,
So before you say that comment, Mo, I just want to remind everyone, if you're watching us right now, please give us a like, a comment, or share, no matter where you're watching us, YouTube, Facebook. Also, if you're on our channel, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you're notified as soon as we go live every night. We go live every Sunday with this content, but we have a lot of other content throughout the week. Go ahead, Mo.
Here's the difference. I get where you're saying it, doesn't make sense, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense because we're talking about traditional church dynamics.
Okay.
So So in this case, when you're within those type of dynamics, it's very image driven. And if you notice, a lot of the blame was on LaToya, even though it really should have been on Prophet Lot, because Prophet Lot was in the position of power. Because Prophet Lot is the one that was supposed to be the spiritual advisor to LaToya. So he really should have had that professional fortitude to say, okay, LaToya, I see where you're coming from. You're trying to give me some, and I can't do that because I'm supposed to be giving you, the word of God. So with that, I understand where you say it doesn't make any sense, but unfortunately, Drew is coming from a culture where basically, more than likely, most examples of issues with drama and things of the nature, the woman is always to blame.
But y'all know, don't nobody on this panel believe that man slept with LaToya. Like, I don't know.
That's beside the point.
Like, none of us believe that.
Who doesn't?
Nigga, don't play with
doesn't?
these folks.
I mean, that's beside the point.
We are not gonna get
beside the point. That is beside. We
are not gonna get on Beyonce's internet and pretend like.
I'm sorry, correction. Blue Ivy's internet. Get it right.
Come on.
Whatever. We is not gonna get on Al Gore's internet and pretend like the energy we saw between LaToya and the Prophet was like two good Judys kikiing on the FaceTime. That's the vibe.
This is the problem I have, and I'm gonna just say it flat out. I'm gonna take that leap.
Allegedly,
the Black community needs to get over the idea that Black male bisexuality does not exist.
Allegedly.
We need to get over it because that's what's blinding us right now. Because what we're suggesting is that
I'm not saying anything.
Right. I think the assumption and suggestion is that he was diddly daddling with the assistant. Allegedly. Which I picked up on that too. Allegedly. All of this is alleged. However, knowing how free LaToya is, do I think that she would be put off by being sexually intimate with a bisexual man? I do not.
No.
I don't think it would bother her one bit. So allegedly. So if you're asking me, if you're telling me that he could possibly also have been with the assistant and LaToya, I think that's very well within the realm of possibility. Now, I will say this, other than Drew having introduced them and it now causing friction in her personal life, it's none of her business. Even though I love Drew. But other than that, like, it's none of her business. Right. I will say this, though. We have to be careful out here in these streets. When you are introduced to someone via someone else, and I know this is going to be controversial, they are now a part of your relationship.
No, yep. I disagree. I respect.
Now, I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about. It's not like a big part, but no. And let me explain. Now, and I'm using the term relationship, meaning two people relating to each other, not dating, not effing, not screwing. If I introduce Tristan to Mo as a business proposition and it goes south, y'all could be looking at me crazy and never take my advice on a business proposition again, right?
I mean, we do that anyway, so.
Right. My point is, when you introduce someone to two people, you are a part of that relationship, whether you want to be or not. Now, I'm not saying you're a big part, but you are. So my point is saying that it is understandable. Like, if I introduce Tristan to a good friend of mine and Tristan, and like today, and Tristan dogged that friend out, I would be at Tristan like, bruh, You know what I'm saying? And people be like, oh, it's none of your business. Yes, it is my business because you dogged my friend out, and you would have never dogged my friend out if I didn't introduce you to him. Now my friend's looking at me some type of way. So I do understand her energies. Like you can't act a certain way.
But that's not the energy that Lot was giving off to her, though. That's kind of a false equivalency because you're making it seem like LaToya did Lot wrong, and Lot is coming back at Drew.
Okay, in that way, yes, it is a false equivalency. I'm just trying to give an example of why I'm saying that you're still connected even after you introduce people. I'm sorry, but I'm not saying it's exactly the same.
Right, but also you have to remember within mainstream Christianity, image is everything. And it's a sad reality, but it's the truth. So when she's seeing the image of the word on the street, LaToya is getting down with the prophet. Yeah, I can't have that over my baby. And so now you're causing friction within my own personal life because now I got to work around finding somebody else to christen my baby. So
you're saying we're seeing traditional Christian rage from her, and that's what this is.
Boom.
To Derrie's point, I get what you're saying.
Allegedly.
But
I can buy that. Go ahead, Tristan. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I guess for me, I always feel like, okay, Derrie, if you introduce me to a friend of yours, right? Okay. And then me and your friend end up having a friendship between just me and them, like separate from you. Like we hang out when you ain't there, et cetera, et cetera. For me, once me and that person establish a rapport or a relationship with each other, what goes on between us is between us. And it should have no bearing on you unless one of us bring you into it. So for example, let's take like Portia and Marlo and Kenya. Marlo put herself in the middle of that. Portia didn't do that.
That's true.
Like that's something that Marlo chose to do. If I'm friends with somebody, if I'm friends with somebody and we have mutual friends, I'm not gonna bring other people into our disagreement or our issue. If me and Derrie have a problem, I'm not gonna then text them like, oh, you know what Derrie said? I don't roll that way. I genuinely feel.
Yeah, thank you, PJ. Allegedly.
Because I just want to tell the folks, not to like subject change, but I want to tell y'all, we don't know if that prophet man slept with that girl's assistant. We don't know.
Ricky, put up that next comment. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tristan. Boom.
LaToya ex-husband said she having sex with him. Okay, well maybe she is fucking the nigga.
Listen, I'm telling you, bro.
I fuck him too. So whatever.
Allegedly.
Okay. I'm sorry. Finish it. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm gonna cut you off.
No, you're fine. No, you're good. So, and also, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna even go up for LaToya because I forgot them videos came out of her calling folks gorillas and big lips and braids. And all
then
that
there's
shit.
that.
So I'm actually.
There's that.
Fuck LaToya. Fuck LaToya. Drew ain't got like that girl. They can all hate her. Fuck her.
Okay. So in addition to this, because there is some beef going back between LaToya and her ex-husband right now. They are beefing like hell. I haven't rated all the details, but it's interesting that you say that. Thank you, Evelyn. Evelyn got receipts. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for hanging out with us via YouTube. Thank you for having your receipts. And I love you right now. So let's talk about this stage video call. Let's talk about this stage video call that they had.
Oh, God.
This is the classic example of give a little truths to conceal a lie. I feel like what happened. Thank you so much, Evelyn. We love your presence, child. Okay, so I'm telling you this. I feel like you give a little truth to give a little lie, and that's what happened in that phone call. He gave enough truth to garner to seem sincere. So then the women were hooked, and then he fed them the lie, which is we're not doing it, nothing's happening, all this other stuff. And I'm just like, okay. And I think the truth was the assistant bit, because that made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense, you know, like, but then it didn't. What didn't still add up to me was that Drew never said her assistant. She said her husband. And I know you're saying that he's a liar or whatever, but if Drew was getting this from her assistant, I believe Drew would have said that. So Drew is saying that she heard this from her husband, who heard it directly from him. I believe that. She at least believes that. So you're telling me that the assistant happened? Sure. I believe that everything you're saying about the assistant getting, if you're having sex with LaToya and the assistant found out, and you're also having sex with the assistant, allegedly, of course he's going to get mad.
I'm not convinced.
Okay, I'm pausing.
Who's to say the husband don't get down? Allegedly.
I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not about to do this with these people. I'm not doing this.
Drew's husband, honey. Drew's husband. I mean, I'm just saying. We allegedly.
Internet. I don't know.
We don't know.
I mean, I want to be clear. Internet. I don't know. We don't know these men.
We don't know these. I don't know the lady. I don't know.
We don't know who they. We don't know who they be with.
You're absolutely right. I'm being very.
You are not watching Sipping Kiki. You are watching #allegedly. That's allegedly. The show.
Okay.
Yes. Period.
Allegedly, because I don't want these men to come sue me or us. We don't know.
Allegedly.
Listen, allegedly. If they sued us, we would go broke just paying for lawyers. So
okay,
they don't want nothing from us. But I will say this though,
honey, I will put a shoe on top of my head saying I was wrong. So, but in this moment, general, allegedly, what if Drew's husband get down? Well, I mean, for her to be hanging out with the prophet. I mean, I'm just saying.
My point is saying that I don't really have a comment to that. I have comments, but I don't.
I bet.
I'm gonna say right. But I don't. Right. But I'm just gonna say this, and I'm not saying that anyone here is. I'm just saying like the impression I got was like, why would this assistant be getting emotionally upset that you're getting close to LaToya if they weren't emotionally invested in you? Right.
I mean, me and Daria, we both know that gay men can be invested in straight men emotionally, and them straight men ain't done nothing with them gay men. The gay men just have you just have emotionally.
But then you're right. Person. You're absolutely right. So that's another alleged. To me, it's one of two things. I'm gonna be flat out honest. This is one of two things. This is either allegedly. This is just my opinion. I'm telling you, this is my opinion, and I can have an opinion. They put it on TV. If they didn't want me to have an opinion, they would put it on TV. My opinion is this: one of two things happen. The assistant has been intimate with the prophet, or the assistant is interested in the prophet, and the prophet is not interested in the assistant, right? Which still makes, but in both of those scenarios,
it works.
The only logical situation that would cause this friction is if the prophet was actually sleeping with Toya.
I mean, the prophet probably is sleeping with LaToya, but you know what?
I'm not saying that he is allegedly. Either way, you split it. If the gay dude, I'm sorry, not the gay. If the assistant is interested in this person, whether they've done something or whether it's like you said, where sometimes gay dudes do get emotionally invested in men that aren't. Either way, what triggers that a lot of the times is an actual relationship.
Now,
hold on, pause. It was Drew's husband that brought it to her attention.
Not according to the prophet.
And I'm not convinced of that. I think Drew might be lying, but that's about that part.
You think Drew?
Allegedly.
I think Drew, in order on camera,
not the perfect new cast member.
I think Drew on camera, to make the story more plausible, would say her husband told her, because that makes more sense or makes it more believable from her than my assistant told me. It makes it sound, because if you say your assistant told you, that just sounds like some gay messy punk shit, like straight up.
But you would say that on camera, knowing your husband later is gonna be like, "Why did you tell them I said that? I didn't say that."
Bro, he a nigga. He ain't gonna say all that. He don't give a fuck enough. Like
I'm saying behind scenes, yes, he would. Behind the scenes, he would.
The scenes, but like on camera, he not gonna say that. Like,
of course not on camera.
But I want to say this, and then I guess we can kind of wrap this up because
because I just want to talk about this call. Yeah, and that's it.
I do not understand this obsession on this season of the show with people having with adults. What adults are doing with their own body.
You don't understand the obsession?
I just think, let me rephrase. It's not that I don't understand it. I just think the shit is weird.
Okay.
Like, I find it weird.
This is why I have to say that's strange that you find this weird. This entire franchise was built on being concerned with what other people were doing in their private lives. Literally back to season 1, Kim Zolciak, keep your legs closed to married men. And that really had nothing to do with Nene. Like, no matter how many married men Kim slept with, it didn't affect Nene at all. But that was what they
also that was season 2. That wasn't season 1.
Bye.
Oh, church. That's fine. And I would get it if I would understand it if the having sex stuff was a bit more salacious. But like, I guess for me, I don't find Portia being a single woman sleeping with an attractive man on a girls' weekend to be I don't find that salacious. I don't think that's salacious. He's a
Let's be clear.
but
If Portia did have sex with Bolo, we know why she's hiding it, right? Everybody knows why she's hiding it.
No,
because I think I don't think
Bolo it's because it's. I don't think Portia cares. I really don't think Portia cares that people know it's about the other person who's allegedly involved. I think Portia's really right now trying to be a good friend, because if Portia admits something, it immediately implicates Tanya, because Tanya said she was in the room with her. So I feel like Portia's like, honestly, if Portia's lying, this is an acceptable lie to me, because she's only lying. She's lying to protect a woman. Let's be clear. We don't know the situation Tanya has with her husband. They could have one of those situations where you do what you want to, just don't embarrass me in public. And
also, Portia ain't obligated. Let's be clear. Portia nor Latoya, neither one of these women are required to run who they fuck past these women. Like, legitimately, they ain't required to run it past these women, and they ain't required to tell you the truth about it. They can lie every goddamn day if that's what they want to do. That is their prerogative.
That is true.
And I will stand on that. Like, that's
so to me,
business.
If she is lying, I think that's the only thing that makes sense to me why she was lying. She has nothing to lose if people, because no one would care. No one would care. I think it's all about protecting the other person who's allegedly involved. And to me, this is my issue. This is my issue with Kenya. Kenya's doing all of this to tarnish Portia's name, who, even if this came out, it wouldn't tarnish her name.
No.
While throwing Tanya under the bus, and her excuse is these women would do the same thing to me. Tanya has never given Kenya smoke.
No.
Never giving Kenya smoke. That's what kind of mentality she has. Kenya, when she wants to do something, she gets her mind made up that in order to do the thing that I want to do, I don't care who I have to hurt. And that, to me, is the problem. Like, Tanya really has never had friction with Kenya. I don't get it.
Well, allegedly, but wait, to answer Evelyn C's the answer back to her comment, allegedly, Bolo wasn't even in the room when those moaning sounds were happening.
That's what I'm saying.
Where was Bolo?
I don't think
Bolo was in a whole nother room, honey. They were saying it was actually Tanya and Portia was getting down. Which, hey, I am all for it. Of course, me being the the advocate of ladies, but my issue. Well, hold on. My issue with Kenya, though, we talking about all this shit that happened, with Strippergate, but nobody talking about her and her issue with or lack thereof of her and her husband. Because if anything, that should have been the real storyline of the season. So she was able to goop Bravo.
That's what it was. It was what they call a cloak and dagger.
Yeah, and you know what? It was smoke and dagger.
You know what? And shout out to the women, because if you
smoke and mirrors,
Portia has not. Don't bring up that Portia could easily spray that bitch with her husband situation.
Absolutely,
Portia don't mention.
And then when Latoya, and then even though she don't like Kenya, when Latoya brought up that alimony thing, Portia was like, "Ew." And that's why, honestly, I didn't know if I was ever gonna mess with Portia again. I love Portia, but then Candygate happened, and y'all know I ride for Candy, so I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with Portia. But honestly, in that moment alone, when Drew did it too, basically, like, you got to be careful whose business you're saying out in the streets, and they don't even like Kenya, and they had Kenya's back. I wish Kenya really knew what type of people she was really trying to tarnish. Like, they don't like you, but they're still trying to protect your marriage on camera, bro.
That's the thing, though. Kenya says, well, if it was me, they would be doing the same thing. I don't actually believe that. I really don't.
I don't think so either.
Because I think when they all said, you know what, we turning the cameras off and we just going to be in this moment, we going to be friends and let loose and have a good time. I think everybody
made
a gentleman's agreement, for lack of a better term.
A gentlewoman's agreement.
Right. So let's have a good time. And what happens is just between us. I think everyone would have stuck to that. And if you notice, for the longest time, the only person on camera who was trying to talk about this was Kenya.
Period.
Candy wasn't trying to talk about it. Tanya wasn't. Portia wasn't sure. Nobody else.
Every time they brought it up, every time Kenya brought it up, the whole cast was like, "What are we talking
about?"
But
here's the gag. But here's the gag, though. Notice, I think Bravo producers got in Kenya's ear.
Yeah,
because they were like,
completely agree.
You don't have a storyline. You gonna have to come up with something. Because what we getting, it ain't really shitting. It ain't really getting on nothing. Because I mean, outside of the argument that well, shit, there hasn't really been any other storyline except.
I'm sorry, this whole season has been about Kenya. Whether it was like her horrible trip, her eating that po' boy in front of people. Like, I'm sorry, I don't believe production gets in her ear no more because Claudia Jordan said something really interesting on her show. She said that she would have done better on Real Housewives if she accepted the role of villain like Kenya did. Kenya got on that show, realized that being a villain was lucrative, and she dove into it. I don't think the producers are egging Kenya on at all. I think Kenya has like a list of things. Herself. Yes. I think she has a list of things she's going to do or say. Kenya will always, in every situation, because it's like this.
But
what is Kenya's problem with Drew?
None.
But every time Drew is brought up, she got smoked.
It's a problem.
But what is your problem with Drew?
But Daria, here's the thing, though. You have to remember, Bravo still pissed at her ass after her getting married and not having it on camera.
Okay.
So she's got baby. She got
we didn't get to cover the baby or the marriage.
Oh yeah, they mad. Right. So she's got to do whatever she got to do and keeping their. I
don't blame them either. As a fan, I don't blame it because I think if there's one thing that would have made me like Kenya, it is watching her go through her pregnancy.
And seeing her be able to actually get married when she just spent all this time on the show having fake ass boyfriends, having a drug addict boyfriend, and all that shit. Like, we would have loved to see her happy, getting married.
And Bravo was pissed that she did not include them in that.
But do you know why? I think she probably didn't include them. I guarantee you Mark was like, no. Like,
I'm sure. I absolutely agree with that.
He has every right to. But this is where I come back to it. I'm sorry. Like, let's say, for instance, Nelly Media just explodes, right? Don't come into my life trying to dampen what I've built. Kenya, as problematic as she is to me, she built a thing, several things. She did it with hard work because I'm sorry, like, let's be clear. As much drama as she causes, I don't care who you are. That is emotionally taxing. Like, her entire life, she put her mother's drama on there, her aunt's drama, her dog, everything. That's one thing I will say about Kenya. She doesn't hide her stuff from the cameras. So,
well, parts of her stuff.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff that she's put out in front of that is really
she's
raw.
Been open about some things.
Yeah, and so to me, and she did that in order to build an empire and to build a legacy for herself and her and her brand. And she was willing to throw that all away for this man. And look, don't get me started because I don't even like Kenya, but I don't like Mark how he's dogging her because I'm like, look, she's a whole human being still.
But I don't think it's dogging someone. Like, I can say, you know what, Daria, let's say I wasn't on this podcast, right? And you have Nelly Media, it blows up. I don't have to come on your podcast to support you doing the podcast.
But that's
how would you support? How would you support?
I would support you in doing whatever you want to do to make money.
There are plenty I'm glad for you support or actual support.
I mean, actual support. Here's the deal. There are plenty of housewives whose husbands don't really fuck with the show and be on the show like that. You might see them in the background. They might be in a kitchen shot. But in general, those husbands and those wives, they don't like talk about the ins and outs of their marriage or really get into all that on the show. That's a choice that they as a married couple make. I'll be honest. I think you come out better if you limit your husband's exposure on the show. Because
you know why I disagree with that?
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Housewives all the franchises have a long history of marriages falling apart.
Now that's true.
On the show, frankly, because of things that happened on the show. Because of the show. So if
hold on.
Go ahead.
Here's my little pushback on that. Your example that you're giving is that, okay, well, you know, Daria has this podcast and I decided to not come on there. Okay, well, this podcast is not about giving. Okay, phone. Mm-hmm. It is not about giving Daria's life story. It's about talking about housewives. Now Housewives, that's a show where basically she's giving up a portion of her life story of what's going on in her life and how she's interacting with these women. So if you're going to be a part of her life,
interacting with those women,
but also giving a part of what was going on in her personal life. You see what I'm saying? So if you're going to be a part of somebody's life that's in the spotlight like this, you have a choice of like, am I going to support her by being on the show or not support her and being on the show?
But we don't call the other husbands on other franchises or even on Atlanta who have appeared on the show, but their relationship with their wife isn't an integral part of her storyline. So like, if we're being completely honest, with Nene's first couple of seasons, Greg was on the show, but like you didn't really you wasn't getting ins and outs of like Greg and Nene's relationship. Like he would be in the house, kind of in the background.
But we knew Greg existed though.
Well, okay, can I hop in really quick? This is the issue. The truth is this: what y'all are forgetting, y'all are thinking about the producers. Y'all are forgetting about the honorary producers.
Oh,
the viewers. And one thing we don't like is somebody who comes on this show that we get into for our good old entertainment and bores the hell out of us. And we feel like they're hiding from us. We want that. And I'll be honest, you're only going to survive so long on these reality shows without letting us know more about you. Housewives is a show where you turn yourself into a character. Got to save something for your real life. All right, Tippy Bell.
That's my cousin.
First of all,
Queen,
okay.
I love you.
Hey, cuz. Okay, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Here's my thing about that comment. Yes and no, and yes, but no. Because Housewives is a show where you turn yourself into a character. Yes, that's how you survive on that show. And the truth of it is, there's different types of characters that you can turn into. Like my favorite is Candy and Yandy from Love and Hip Hop, because they know what kind of character to turn themselves into. People call Yandy fake all the time on this show. But me as a viewer, I'm like, Yandy's just smart about the way she wants herself to be portrayed. Y'all say it's fake. She's on reality TV. Like, all y'all should be fake. All y'all should be fake. Like, the fact that y'all are coming on reality TV and trying to be 1,000% yourself is dangerous, because people aren't that kind. People aren't that forgiving. You show what you want to show. And that's a choice you make whenever the cameras are on. Even if you choose to show your unadulterated self. Now, that may gain you some fans, but it also may backfire and get the opposite. So when you say got to say something for your real life, that is where I feel like there's a cloudy interpretation. Yes.
But I kind of push back on that, because there has been people that, for example, Cardi B, she was known for keeping it real on that show, and that basically helped push her until, in the major stardom, and where she was able to leave Love and Hip Hop.
But I mean,
and furthermore, but I will say this: I am a fan of Yandy, of her not marrying Mendices at that point, because she didn't want to pay that restitution.
That's what made sense.
I was like, you know what, that makes a hell of a lot of sense.
But the Cardi B
baby
thing,
mamas was mad about it. But hey,
I'm gonna give you an example of something with Cardi B. Cardi B never delved. I'm sorry, she never delved into
her actual
personal life.
Right.
Her storyline was heavy about her trying to be a stripper, getting into music. We knew about her boyfriend in jail. That could have been her whole storyline.
But she didn't.
But she didn't let that be. She would joke about it, mention it, so that way we felt like we were in on that part of her life. So we felt like we weren't being hidden from it. But at the end of the day, she chose, these are the things I want them to see on camera. I want them to see this story. And it was a smart choice to make, because us seeing that story is, look at her now. You know what I'm saying? So like she said, you got to say something for real life. The question is, what do you save? And I think some people who are successful in reality show choose the right thing to save. And the people who are not successful in reality TV show choose the wrong things to save.
There has to be, I don't care who you are, what reality show you're on, there has to be something that you keep sacred in your life. Like, there has to be. I don't think it works if you don't keep something sacred. Like, for me, what I will say with Kenya, if I was Kenya, what I would have done is I would have had like a private wedding with just me and my husband, and then I would have given Bravo and the people in the public a spectacle for TV. Like that's what Prince Harry and
Meghan did. They had their own little vow exchange,
right? And because we understood this thing we're doing in the public.
But King is dealing with a man who's not willing to compromise. Like how much do we have to understand that he's not willing to compromise with her?
But then my thing is though too. I always say if I meet somebody and someone says, "Yo, I don't smoke weed no more," but let's say I was still smoking weed, right? And I met a guy who was like, "Well, yo, I don't smoke weed and I don't really like guys who smoke weed." He tells me this up front. So then I have a choice. Either I can choose to decide to quit smoking weed to be with this dude because I found that more important, or I can keep smoking weed. Right. Kenya made a choice. Mark didn't force her. She a grown. I just believe in holding grown people responsible for the choices they make. Right. She made a choice.
I'm not saying that she did make a choice. What I'm saying is she made a choice based off of dealing with someone who's unwilling to compromise. I'm not saying he forced her to do anything. What I'm saying is if me and you are talking about something, Tristan, and you want me to do something, right? And you're just like, I want you to go to the store and give me some Cheetos, right? And I'm like, well, I'll go to the store if you drive me. And you're just like, emphatically, no, I want you to go to the store. So it's my choice whether I actually do what you say. However, because I can honestly be like, F you and your Cheetos, get them yourself and leave, right? So if I go to the store and get them, you didn't force me to go, but you also didn't compromise. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying I don't think Kenya was forced to do anything. However, I think her husband, as we've seen, is unwilling to compromise.
In all fairness, he did appear on the show. Like he legit appeared on the show through that whole one season. He did.
He had 4 or 5 appearances. You're right.
He came on the show, and then I just remember that he had that charity event, and they acted nutty at his charity event. And if I was someone who did not like reality, if I was someone who didn't like reality TV, and then I have a charity event and I let my wife's show come film there, and the people act nutty at my event, anyway.
I feel like this, Tristan. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna say this. I feel like this. If you get with somebody who's on reality TV, don't act like you don't know what reality TV is. If you want to have an event and you know it's going to be filming there, don't invite important people, because there's never been a successful event on any reality TV show ever without some drama. So
y'all know,
if I'm about to have a charity event, if I'm having a charity event and they filming a reality show there, my mama can't come. Because my mama will be the star of that show that night if something's to go wrong. Okay, my mama can't come. My brother definitely can't come. He'll end up in jail. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna set myself up with okay. All right. So this is usually where we talk about Married to Medicine, but we went a whole hour talking about Real Housewives, and I didn't get to watch the episode of Married to Medicine this week because
nothing really happened. Simone and what's her face made up, and that was about it.
They actually made up.
They met up. You're right. The last scene of the show was them meeting up at one of their offices, and they had a conversation, and it seemed like they were.
But Simone
don't want to make I'm just gonna be real, and we can leave it at this and move on to current events. But it seems very much that Simone is hell bent on not fixing it. She seems very invested.
Simone feels betrayed.
But
that's a heavy word, but that's how she feels. Simone
but you won't feel that betrayed. You kikiing with Heavenly. If Heavenly was the start of the issue and the root of the issue, and you made up with Heavenly, and you got more grace. You have more grace for Heavenly, who wasn't even your fucking friend.
Because she doesn't really consider Heavenly as a friend.
Right. I'm sorry.
She just kikis with Heavenly because she already knows who Heavenly is from the door. She was expecting Jackie to have her back because they had a long-term relationship prior to the show.
But Jackie didn't do her like that over Buffy. She sat up there and then stick up for Buffy, then speak up for Jackie when it came to Buffy. In fact, she threw Jackie under the bus when Buffy on the reunion was like, well, do you think that was a real apology? And Simone said no. And then the fucked up part is, the realty is, they said at the actual event, apparently when you listen to Jackie's speech in totality, you could tell she wasn't trying to single out Buffy. And they said that at the event,
here's the thing though. I'm sorry.
And they said at the event that she took Buffy. She at the event after it was done, like when she realized that Buffy felt away, she took Buffy aside and she apologized at the event, and then she apologized one other time when they saw each other. So then when they went to the vacation and Buffy brought it back up, that's why she had an attitude. She said, yo, I'm sorry. I'm done with it. Because I'm that kind of person. Once I apologize to you and I'm genuine about it, and I do it 2 times, get the fuck out of my face. Either you take the apology and you believe me, or you fucking don't.
That's it.
Like, I don't have. I don't.
My pearls.
Oh my God, child.
I don't. Because at some point, what I've realized is sometimes people don't want an apology. They want you to beg. And I ain't that nigga. Like, I will give you a full-throated, genuine apology.
Not that either.
And Jackie, I'm the same. We cut from the same cloth. I'm not gonna beg a nigga for shit.
Wait, really?
I ain't gonna beg.
You an AKA? I didn't know that.
I would be if I was a girl.
Can I say something really quick? I feel like this though. When it comes to that situation, this is my thing about Jackie. I love Jackie. However, in that moment, Jackie was wrong. She should not have brought up that personal thing. And I think for Jackie being an OBGYN, not because she's Jackie, because she is an OBGYN, she should understand the delicacy of those situations. Because just like earlier in the conversation, when we brought up the idea of women and we realized, oh, yes, that's not something we want to talk about loosely. We all just was like, oh, yeah, that's right. And move on. You know, like we all make slips in life. And Jackie made a slip in that moment. Now,
which is why she
do I feel like they pushed her? Like, and like I said, we also don't know everything that's going on. For Buffy, I think it was harder to take than just a simple apology in the moment. I think she really wanted Jackie to understand how much that affected her and that it was still affecting her. It's like this, Tristan. Me and you had a personal conversation not a long time ago, like maybe 2 weeks ago, about some stuff that happened to me that I still deal with. Right? It doesn't mean I'm not mad at you. I don't feel like you need to fix that for me. You know what I'm saying? But it's just something I'm talking to you about. And you didn't take it personally because you read that. I'm just telling you that that's something I still deal with.
But see the difference.
I think, wait. I think in that moment, maybe Buffy didn't go about it the right way, but I do think Buffy was just expressing that she still was dealing with it. And I don't fault Jackie for how she responded. I don't.
And that's understand. I don't. And it's
because I get why she felt like that too. I get why Jackie felt like, look, I done said sorry about 4 or 5 times now.
I said what I said.
I said.
And if it was so deep for you, I think when you brought us up, there was a good point. We had a private conversation. We didn't like get on here and like talk about it. So if it was really that deep for you,
that's true.
But who's to say they were friends like that though?
But me and Tristan are friends, but we're not like
not
me and EJ.
I'm talking about.
No, but that's his point though. The point is like we still had it privately.
Right. And I think sometimes, especially with reality TV, if something happens on camera that really deeply does hurt you, I do think there's a point where you should off camera have conversations with people. I don't think that everything that occurs on camera necessarily needs to always be finished in totality on camera. Of course, you have to tie up on camera. I know that
Well, hold on.
Sorry, go ahead.
Pearl made a comment that the reason why she was mad at RuPaul for the season is because she came up to RuPaul and was saying, RuPaul, I really love you, all this kind of stuff. RuPaul made the comment to her, baby, if you don't say it in front of the camera, it didn't happen.
Why is that bad?
She did say that. I don't
have a problem with RuPaul saying that. But if we're filming a TV show.
That's exactly my point. They are filming a TV show, so you're gonna need to bring that up in front of the camera for it to matter.
But
I'm sorry, Tristan. I'm sorry. Let me say, if the offense, have you heard that phrase? That apology needs to be just as loud as that offense, as that disrespect was.
Exactly.
If the offense happened on camera, the apology needs to happen on camera.
Exactly.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying that obviously you have to tie. If something happens on camera, at some point it has to be tied up on camera, so we as an audience have continuity and know what happens. At the same time, that doesn't mean that me and you can't have a conversation off camera. Does that make sense? Like in the interim,
I agree. We can have that conversation off camera, but you have to understand that conversation is not enough.
And I want to also,
if you publicly embarrass me, then you need to publicly apologize.
In terms of Drag Race, they shoot Drag Race a little bit differently than Housewives. So on Drag Race, they shoot everything all the time. And then when the cameras go down, they put everyone on what they call ice. They literally don't let them, like, you're not allowed to speak to people until the cameras go back rolling, like when you're on set.
Can I tell you why?
And that makes sense. That makes total
sense. It's because
like
me and the three of us have, luckily we're talkers, right? But we have some really good banter in our private chat.
Yes, we do.
That wouldn't happen. That, like, I don't mind it because the three of us can talk about anything.
I say something to y'all that I'm not gonna say on the internet, though.
But my point is, like, that's why the producers put them on ice. Is because, like, we don't even want y'all to talk about this until y'all see, until y'all the cameras are there again. Like your cousin said, we're filming shows. We're not just capturing life. We're filming shows. We're filming content that is to be consumed for the purpose of entertainment. It needs to be entertaining. We want the entertainment. Like, the smartest people, like your cousin said, are the people who pick a character and stick with that character. Now, you have to just be willing to know what comes along with that character. So, are we gonna? You have something to say.
Let's get into these trending topics.
Okay, I know Mo left. They left, but they will be back. All right,
Mo will be back.
So I'm going to go to. You want to go to yours first, then?
Whatever you want to do, bro. I'm cool with whatever you want.
Okay, so let's go to yours. You want to talk about Nick Cannon?
Oh yeah.
So tell me about Nick Cannon, because I don't know what's going on. So apparently it's a big deal. I'm sorry, you go ahead, because I'm sitting over here lost.
He just got another girl pregnant with twins, and another girl just got done having a baby. Like, essentially, I guess Nick Cannon, maybe he's poly. Here's my issue with the whole Nick Cannon thing.
Oh, it would make sense that he would be poly because of his.
But the issue is one of the women who recently had a baby for him, Jessica White. She did an interview with Hollywood Unlocked, and essentially she said she didn't sign up to be a sister wife. Like, that's not what he was giving her, and that's not what she was under the impression.
Do you remember that whole storyline with Tierra Marie on Love and Hip Hop?
Did it involve Nick Cannon?
With Akbar?
Oh yeah, and the dude wanted her to be a sister wife.
The reason I bring that up is I feel like these dudes be hitting them with some, let me make them fall in love first.
Right. And that
then let them. Yo, and I'll be honest, Tristan, I feel like that shit be working. Because even after all that stuff happened, even after the sex tape, she was still going back and getting it big. She was still going back and getting that eggplant.
That's due to the fact of oxytocin.
But you can get oxytocin from any eggplant.
When you get oxytocin released from that right eggplant, unfortunately, the correct eggplant, unfortunately, that is the hormone that likes to bring you closer to that eggplant.
Right.
So she got locked in by the eggplant due to oxytocin. So yeah, I do have to partially agree that I think that is what these niggas' plans are.
Yeah, they get you in love with them, and then they say, they be like, but you won't, and then they tell you all the right things. Oh, I got a wife, but blah 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 blah. And then next thing you know, you're like, okay, baby. Let me tell you what, with me, you don't have to do all that. Just let me know what's up. I'm down.
Here's my issues with the
Nick my pearls.
I'm down. I'm down. I like, honestly, the sexiest thing, I'm gonna be honest, the sexiest thing a person can be is honest. Oh,
so that my thing is with Nick.
We just walk past that comment? Fine.
No, I mean, honestly,
well, honey, that spoke for itself, honey. I mean, I'm just saying, what else can you say behind that?
Okay.
But to me, honesty is you telling me something before we enter into whatever we're gonna do. Like, honesty isn't like selling me a dream and then switching it up when I like you or I'm in love with you. That's
so. When's a good time? Honesty. Okay, so I meet Tristan, right? Let's pretend that I'm a dude, and because I don't think I'm gonna be kind of like, I don't know what the term is, but I think this is something that happens more often in heterosexual situations. So I'm gonna pretend like, okay, if I'm a dude and you're a girl, or vice versa, whatever, right? So I meet you, Tristan, and everything's going great. When is the right time to tell you that I'm looking for another? The first date?
This is me. I think that there are some things that should be put on the table immediately. Like, I don't think it's especially when. If someone especially when Nick Cannon's an older he ain't in his 20s no more.
Okay. I see what you're trying to say. Nick is my age. Yes, he is. He is in my age group. However, we already know what the business is with Nick Cannon.
I'm just saying, according to Jessica White, it's only Jessica White. I don't know what them other women done said. I don't know about them. Jessica White says that she was not on board with being a sister wife. She was not told she was not aware that he was, because Jessica White was pregnant at like the same time one of his other baby mamas was pregnant. But it's not even all that bothers me the most. I have strong issues with people who have lots of children in general. And let me explain. I don't think that at some point you can only give so much time and attention to so many children. Like there's only so many hours in the day. You have to work jobs, etc. I think when you start talking about having 6, 7, and 8 children, trying to give them the time they need in order to make a child feel special, wanted, and loved the way that I think they should, becomes difficult. It gets even more difficult when those children aren't even in the same house. So when you have 6 children, 7 children, and these children are split between 3, 4, and 5 homes, how much quality time can you really spend with those children to make them feel special the way they should when you are hosting a show and producing this and doing that? You get what I mean? There's a level of me.
I respect that, but I think that's more typical. I hate to say it, typical nigga shit. But I mean, just straight up, it just is what it is. Because
but that's the conversation I think we as Black people should have. Like, yo, is it wise for men to just have all these families here, there, and everywhere?
But it's not just Black men doing that though.
You said nigga shit. Like that's what I took that from. Agreed, cousin. Queen, I love you. I just don't think that I don't think it's something for anyone to do. I don't think Black, white, whatever. I don't care. I don't think it's cool to have
families. But at the same time, here's how I feel. I want to say this. I want to preface this. It is very important that we here at Sipping Kiki understand that everybody has different opinions on everything, including how they should love. That's why it goes back to this. What me and Tristan both agree on. We might not agree on when it should happen, but we agree that it should happen.
It's a conversation.
That honesty should happen, right? Because if you do have multiple families everywhere, but they know about it, they're cool with it.
That's your business.
Then that's your business. Now, the issue that I'm just going to dig into what he's saying and what I'm hearing from what Tristan's saying. I feel like what you're saying is you feel like if you're being deceitful in having all these separate families, then you're sowing more discord than you are unity. And that is then an issue.
Correct. And also, I do think there's a level of you can have so many children, again, that it makes it very difficult to spend quality time. I'm not with her.
I'm with her. Just let me know I'm with it. Period.
Like I don't like the Duggars. Mainly because Duggars. They're like the 19 and counting.
18 and counting.
Like 18 and counting. They're like 18 children.
Oh, that's the new generation after Z.
They call them Quiverful movement, where basically.
Right. So
why can't we just go back to Generation A? Can't we just start over? No.
No, that's not how that works.
They have 18 children in their one marriage, but my issue is when you start having.
Oh, the Duggars are people.
They're people.
Yeah, that's a couple.
I thought you were saying it was a generation. And they have 18 kids.
Yes, there was a whole show. There was a whole show on TLC about it.
But see, when you start having
where you been? I didn't watch the show and I knew about that shit.
Okay.
Go ahead, Tristan. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Oh, if you're watching, before you go, Tristan, if you're watching, please like the video, share the video, hit us up on YouTube, specifically on YouTube, so that we can get more interaction on YouTube. Just like the video, subscribe to the content for notifications, hit the notification bell. You can also hit the notification bell on Facebook as well. If you follow us on Facebook, the same thing will happen. When we go live, you will immediately get a notification. Just hit the notification bell. If you're watching us on Facebook, you may have to expand. If you're on a computer, you may have to expand to full screen to find the notification bell. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
When you start having that many children, I think that in a family that big, it's gonna be very difficult for each individual child to feel special in terms of like their parents spending individual quality time for them.
Because how
And
can
then
you have that much
also,
time?
and then you also get into, I know for a fact that your children are raising your children. Like you
That's
can't,
basically what was happening.
that's what's happening. It's not physically possible for two adult people to be caring for that many children at one time. So your older kids end up being surrogate mothers and fathers to their siblings, and I don't think that that's fair.
It was for the Duggars. It was more so the mothers. It was the sisters became the mothers sisters. Because the boy children wasn't really didn't have that same level of responsibility as far as the kids were concerned. And one of the reasons why their show got canceled was due to the fact that one of the older sons was messing around. Incest really was messing around. Allegedly, was messing around with one of the their sisters. So allegedly, definitely allegedly. So, I mean that whole family was just kind of screwy from the jump. My thing, I don't really care about Nick and how many babies he has, because this is the same dude that tried to co-sign with Professor what was the dude we named formerly of Public Enemy about those anti-Semitic comments. He co-signed on it, and then when he got canceled because he forgot that Viacom is run by a woman that is Jewish and had family in the Holocaust.
Okay.
And then after he made his apology tour, then you got other black folks like, oh, he's a sellout. You goddamn right he's a sellout, because they basically took his whole empire from him due to the fact that he made those comments. So what else you thought he was gonna do?
I want to say something really quick. I'm sorry. I've been on this kick all weekend. I told my grandmama this.
Oh Lord.
I told my mama this.
Try Jesus, not me now.
Black straight man, understand this. You have privilege. And not all of you, and I hate that I even have to say that, because if you're not one of these people, you're not one of these people. But very often, y'all use that privilege to oppress people of your own race. Stop it. Nick Cannon, you can also oppress people of other races as well. Allegedly. Is that alleged?
He did that.
He did that. But okay, but like my point is saying
this. It's a point of interpretation, because people interpreted that he wasn't. So allegedly.
Right, but my point is this. The thing about you might interpret it that he wasn't, but if a white man, you can say things that are harmful to people other than yourself, and you can feel like you're right, doesn't change the harm you do. Like, let's get away from this, like, Olympics of who's righter, wronger, more wronged, more, like, let's get away from that and let's just stop doing harm. If you're saying or doing something that's doing harm, your pockets shouldn't be at risk before you can acknowledge it, because I have a hankering, I could be wrong, that somebody told him what he said was wrong before it got to where it got.
Actually, I agree with you.
You don't think so?
No.
I don't think, like, no.
You don't think nobody in his circle? Then okay. No, well, then let me say this then. Then this is the problem. Black people. But black people, if you don't got somebody in your circle that's going to get you all the way together, let me tell you who's in my circle that's going to get me all the way together. This one, Rakia, everybody you don't see on any Nelly media show loves to tell me when I'm not correct. And I don't mind that, because at least I have people around me that are going to let me know. If you're doing anything to elevate yourself and you don't got people in your circle that are getting you together, then you're doomed. To me, you're done.
But see, here's the thing. A lot of people forget that at one point, Nick Cannon was head of programming at Nickelodeon. He was an executive for Nickelodeon, not just a content creator. Oh, yes. So as soon as those comments, he realized those comments, was like, oh, shit, I done fucked up. So the following week, he had a guy on there that was a Jewish rabbi, and they talked about the reasons why the comments that were made that he co-signed on was anti-Semitic.
And it was a good conversation.
And it was a great conversation. It was very Unfortunately, some of our people are not ready to have that type of conversation. So when he
I wish I could see that. Y'all need to send me the link of that.
It's on his YouTube page.
It's on his YouTube page. Him
But
and but then also the same dude that he had a conversation with had already got fired from Public Enemy years ago for making similar type of comments. So if anything, he really should have been like, if I'm gonna have this dude on my show, I gotta think about how this is gonna affect my whole persona. But he didn't. He was just like, oh, this is dude from Public Enemy. Da, da, da. So it goes back to the point of
them a little bit because honestly,
I don't think
he's not going to challenge
Nick,
somebody that's not going to listen to whatever he's trying to challenge anyway. Because dude is very close-minded, allegedly. But even from my own personal experience of being around him, he believes what he believes. I'm just saying, allegedly.
Okay.
This is from my own personal experience.
Okay.
I don't think that Nick Cannon originally, I don't think he knew all of the things that the guy from Public Enemy had said. Because I think sometimes we assume that people are enlightened. People aren't always in the zeitgeist and know what someone said before about XYZ. Sometimes all you know is this dude was in Public Enemy. The second thing is Black people being the real Jews or Black people being the chosen people, the real chosen people. That's a common thing that's said in the Black community amongst
child. Are we on Talk It Out or we on Sippy Kiki? Because
and I don't want to, but I'm just.
I don't mind. Duryea don't care. Let's talk. Let's do it.
It's not. I don't think that anyone. I don't think that's a conversation. The conversation that him and the guy in Public Enemy were having. I don't think that's a conversation that Nick Cannon was just having every day, walking through the halls and doing his regular life.
Yeah.
Secondly, I don't think he thought anything was wrong with it because if you are on Twitter or you engage in certain kind of social media, when you see something being said so often by certain people and you have people people post Farrakhan and co-sign on Farrakhan all the time. Tamika Mallory used to be cool with the Nation of Islam, and then folks got mad at her with Farrakhan, and then people got mad because she wouldn't disavow Farrakhan because Farrakhan is an anti-Semite. Farrakhan is homophobic. That is facts. I'm not going to argue with somebody about it. That is what it is. Like, period. Full stop.
I mean, he's lightened up over the years.
But let me say, can I hop in real quick?
He has lightened up over the years.
So here's my thing. Okay, like I told my mama, my grandma. Okay, listen, because I was on the soapbox this weekend, bro. Like I just really was. I feel like this.
That's why we didn't get the call this weekend.
Now, don't do that. Don't do that. We on national internet. Do not do that. So essentially, I was like this. Okay,
I see what I see.
I don't really disagree or agree with the idea that Black people are the original tribes of Judah. The reason I don't have an opinion is because I wasn't there. I can do all the research. I can read all the reads, and but if I read every read, everything makes sense. So I take everything in. I understand that anything is possible. I have my personal beliefs, but what I will say is this. Let's say, for instance, that is the truth. That doesn't make us special. That doesn't make us exalted. That doesn't make us better than. That makes us servants, if anything, more so than anybody else. If Black people are the original tribes of Judah and we're supposed to be the followers of Jesus Christ, that means we have a bigger responsibility to be carers of the community, to take care of people. Yet some people who believe that rhetoric use that as an opportunity to subjugate other people. Since we are men in the tribe of Judah, we can subjugate our women. Since we are men in the tribe of Judah, we can persecute gays. No, because Jesus didn't do none of that. He didn't do none of that. He did the exact opposite. So to me, I'm just like this. What? If anything, if you're going to claim that mantle, then do the work. Don't be one of these people who's like, oh, I'm descended from this tribe, therefore praise me. No, you're descended from that tribe, so do what that tribe's supposed to do. If you're going to take on that responsibility, take care of people. Be a servant. Don't be a king. And that's my issue. I'm sorry. You can be a king, but be the type of king that the king you praise was. Don't be the type of king that just sits back and expects everyone to, because the rhetoric that comes along with that, I got you, Mo. The rhetoric that comes along with that is often abusive to other people. And that's what we saw with Nick Cannon. And they don't even, and I feel like a lot of times either they don't care or they don't notice that it is abusive to other people, other races, other genders, other sexualities, other socioeconomic caste, X, Y, Z, and the third. So I don't have a problem with people who feel like that. My only thing is don't allow that mantle to then turn you into an abuser. Mo.
Well, that whole pendulum swing. It's very easy to go from being oppressed into an oppressor. But secondly, I think most Jewish people were more concerned about his comment that he made about Jewish people is always great with money, due to the fact that those type of inlays, those type of comments has led to Jewish people being subjugated within being bankers and counters of money. So
It's a
that's
trope.
why it's a trope, and they very sensitive because part of that is what allegedly what got pushed with the whole with Nazis and fascism, and that was just what?
Right.
I'm not even
Politically
receiving any of
revoked.
that.
You about to get politically
I'm not.
revoked from this
I'm not
channel.
even receiving
Okay,
any
because
of
we
that.
don't do Tristan fans over here. We do Mo fans and we do Duryea fans. We don't do.
The point I'm trying to make is basically is this. He did, he made those statements. He had somebody on there. He tried to learn from it. What I found interesting though is that he was recently on this show with another comedian. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And they asked him about how did he feel about the Black community saying that he sold out. And he kind of just backtracked and pussy popped all over his apology tour that he made, where he was basically just saying that it was about, that he had to do what he had to do in order to maintain his legacy and stuff like that. And I'm like, so I guess you really wasn't sorry about the comments that you made. So my thing is to stop straddling the fence. Either have one, even in the Bible, it says, if you're lukewarm, God will spit you out. You have to pick a side. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you really honestly feel that way, then be that, do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
standing at 10 toes down.
Say what you mean to me, what you say. Don't be lukewarm about it, because then you're gonna have both sides and be like, this dude really ain't about nothing. You know what I'm saying? But so everybody's a Tristan fan tonight.
Right. It's like we just need to leave. Like, let him just have the show. Because
y'all can go. It's the Tristan. I'm just kidding.
Well, bye.
I am Beyonce. Bye. You guys are Kelly and Michelle.
Wait, who's Kelly?
That's between y'all two.
No, you decide since you Beyonce. Who's Kelly?
Don't do that.
Actually, I want to be Kelly because I like Kelly. I fucks with Kelly.
Okay, then I'm Beyonce. I'm sorry. I'm always gonna take that one if I can grab it. I'm Beyonce.
Well, I guess what I heard a word. I'm glad I'm not with that white man no more, because he disrespect me on TV.
Was he white?
He was white. He was fine though.
Her fiance was white?
Very.
Allegedly, that to me,
nothing wrong with interracial look. I love
nothing was wrong with it, but to me, the way that they played that series, them producers ain't worth shit, because they was making it seem like he was just he making it seem like his ass was Ike Turner. Because I was like,
wait, what series are we talking about?
She had a whole show. She had a reality TV show.
When she was
no, not a husband. It was a
she was getting a choir together, right?
No, he's a pastor. He was a
pastor, and they was getting married, and them producers, every scene that he was disrespectful to her ass, they was able to find in the vault and put
where is this show?
It was on the OWN network. It was like 7 episodes.
It was terrible.
It made her look kind of.
I need to watch
crazy.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then I need to watch this.
It made it look like he was a gaslighting, like
he was gaslighting her.
Yes,
but
you know what? That makes me really sad. You know what that makes me sad? And I'm about to tell y'all why it makes me sad.
Lord Jesus.
Beyonce and Jay-Z, he cheated. Kelly got beat by her man, Dirty Laundry. LaToya Luckett just found out her man cheated.
But she's back
Michelle Williams. Michelle Williams got gaslighted the business. LaTavia got abused too. Like what? Why is it that we? I'm sorry, I know I'm high pitched. Why? I don't get it. Why? That's so, and they're so talented. I don't even want to say it's men. I just want to say I don't know. I want to say, yeah, men ain't shit. All right.
So what was the next topic?
The next topic is going. So we talked about Nick Cannon. Next, we're going to talk about Mo's topic. Mo, you wanted to talk about Quavo and Saweetie.
Yeah, so Quavo and Sweetie, allegedly Quavo has an unreleased diss track about Sweetie, basically saying a couple lines about that Bentley he allegedly repoed from her. And so Sweetie came out being her petty self. She had a little, what was it, a little TikTok or a little video
Yeah, I
where
saw the
she
video.
where she was basically playing herself, having a conversation, talking about where's, can I borrow the car? Where I can't find the keys. And then the key, she had a Bentley key behind her back when she hugged herself. So I thought that was really interesting. My thing is, this isn't the first time Quavo has been petty on wax. He allegedly came out with a diss track about Nicki Minaj when they were dating, and then when
Quavo dated Nicki Minaj?
Allegedly.
Yeah, they had a fling.
Y'all, we really are gonna change the name of this show if y'all don't quit.
Okay, hey, I'm down.
I mean, that is a legend. People say they did, but we ain't like.
We don't know if they did.
Because
but he came for her. He came for her. How and why?
He had a diss track. That was, I think, it was another unreleased diss track that came. That was leaked.
Quavo tried to diss Nicki Minaj lyrics.
Well, that's due to the fact.
I like Quavo's music, but that's Nicki whole Minaj.
This is
what are you doing?
The story. This is how the story goes.
You're not Remy Ma. Go ahead.
Allegedly. Well, actually, this part isn't alleged. This is true. This is facts.
Okay.
So, Motorsport, the song that is the Migos, Cardi B, and Nicki Minaj. Originally, Motorsport was a Quavo solo. Like it was gonna be a song on Quavo's solo record. Okay. Originally, it was just Quavo and Nicki. Somehow or another, Quavo was like, "Yo, is it cool if like we put the Migos and Cardi B on the song?" Nicki goes, "Okay, cool." So they record. Nicki records her verse. Quavo records his. The Migos record theirs. Cardi B hears the song, and Cardi B does not like a line in the original song. Nicki says, "If Cardi the QB, then I'm Nick Lombardi." In the actual Motorsport that we hear now, she says, now in the actual Motorsport that we hear now, she says it's Quavo the QB, I'm Nick Lombardi. So I don't think she meant it as a diss, but the people say that Cardi. She said that not only that Cardi didn't like
Nicki is known for getting on the track with somebody and dissing they ask why they on the track.
The people said that Cardi got so mad that she told her label that she wasn't putting out shit else if Nicki didn't change her verse. She told Quavo she wasn't gonna fuck with. I mean, she told Offset she wasn't gonna fuck with him no more if he didn't fix the shit. And so
do we buy this?
I do. I buy every because
can I say why I have a problem buying this? Because at this point, this was before Cardi B had even released Invasion of Privacy, right?
But no,
it was after.
Like, this was Motorsport was not after Invasion of Privacy.
It was.
Well, it wasn't
Motorsport. It was after Bodak Yellow, but it was not after Invasion of Privacy.
But even still, Bodak Yellow was blowing up.
So
you're saying that she had enough pull with Bodak Yellow to eclipse Nicki Minaj?
Atlantic had sunk a lot of money into Cardi B. So if Cardi B went to Atlantic and I know this is true because I've heard the original version of Motorsport. When they went to Nicki and told Nicki to change her verse, Nicki said, "Okay, fine, I'll change my verse, but I want X amount more bars." And if you notice, that's why Nicki Minaj's verse is long. It's fuck all Motorsport. Her original verse is not that long. It's just as long as the other verses. But she said, if I'm gonna change my verse, y'all gonna give me the thing, you gonna give me the times and the things and the things.
And she was smart with that.
And that's what she added. That opening line was not in the original. She added that, "Watch your man, or you should watch your mouth. Bitches, it's pressed. Administer mouth to mouth. You see the stacks, you know what I'm about." That got added after.
And it makes so much more sense now. Tristan with the receipt.
Right, but on top of that, when you add bars to a song, that adds more to your percentage of songwriting on that record. So she got even more money by doing that record.
Oh, and
allegedly.
Let's be clear. And this is how.
Did I spell that right, y'all?
Yes.
And this is how shady Atlantic is. Nicki had already recorded features with Lil Uzi. I think he had a song called "For Keeps" that she's on, and she had recorded another song with somebody who was signed to Atlantic. And Atlantic had told Nicki, if you don't change your verse, we not gonna release these features you done already did. And like I remember the Little Uzi feature. Everybody had they had talked about it, and people were like really excited about the song. So she did what she did, and then that's why they're not in the video together because
that's what it started. Which interesting enough, fun fact, this week, Cardi B got put on blast because apparently she clicked on Nicki Minaj as a topic on Twitter.
She follows the topic, Nicki Minaj. Like literally, you can follow trending topics on Twitter, and you can see what topics people follow, like in their activity. And somebody screen record. This is not a screenshot. They screen recorded. They went to Cardi B's Twitter profile and went under what she was following. She was following all of like 3 topics, and one of the topics was literally Nicki Minaj.
Okay,
now
let me be the devil's advocate. Cardi B has always said that she was a Nicki Minaj fan.
Girl, bye. I'm not doing this with you on
Beyonce's internet. Okay.
Wait, whose internet?
Beyonce's.
No, like let's be clear. Beyonce's manager runs this internet. Blue Ivy, it is her internet. I don't know why there's confusion. I don't get why you keep saying the wrong things.
Okay, but here's the point of it. Cardi B has had a long history of saying that she always keeps an eye on her haters. And allegedly, who's her biggest hater? Nicki Minaj.
Is Nicki a hater though?
But Nicki Minaj don't even. And this is what bothers me about this whole.
I'm sorry, bro. Nicki Minaj.
Let me finish real quick.
Nicki Minaj,
Nicki Minaj has been pregnant and has not been seen in the public for almost a year plus. She done like one song, and that's that feature on that shot a baby song. But she ain't been on the internet. She ain't been on Twitter. She hadn't.
That's not true. Because she made a tweet about Mulatto not too long ago, and Mulatto was.
I'm sorry. She's sporadically tweeting out something sporadically.
Wait, what did she say about Mulatto?
Nice things.
She basically, great things. Great things.
She said nice. She said about Mulatto. I think about another. It was like 3 or 4 young.
I feel like this is an example of Nicki pulling a Marlo. I'm gonna be honest. Nicki has beef. Let me tell you, after her beef with Remy Ma, when Remy Ma pointed out that Nicki doesn't support other female rappers and artists as well, I think then Cardi B came out. They had their beef, right? And so I think Nicki, reading the room, realized that she needed to put some support behind female artists, rappers specifically.
Let's be fair.
Well, the
only other girls who were rapping at the time before Nicki Minaj mentioned Mulatto, all these other girls, it was literally Cardi B. Now here's the issue.
But there's only 2 years.
But I think what people don't know, what some people don't know is, I think Nicki's issue ain't even with Cardi per se. It's with Atlantic, and you can find interviews. Atlantic had been searching for a girl to beef with Nicki.
I heard about that, and I hate that.
They had, and one, I forgot, it was some British girl who's a rapper. I forgot her name, but she did an interview. Said, "Yo, Atlantic came to me, and they offered me a lot of money to sign with them. But if I signed with them, they wanted me to beef with Nicki, and I think Nicki knew that's what Atlantic wanted to do with Cardi." To Nicki's credit, when Bodak Yellow went #1, Nicki congratulated Cardi. She said nice things about Cardi. I think behind the scenes, there were people in Cardi's ear saying things. I also think that Cardi B, much like the City Girl,
I thought we were friends. I don't like
I'm about to get off Blue Ivy's internet because clearly this has become the Tristan show.
Right. We might as well change this from Sipping Kiki to Tristan and just be done.
Child, Tristan and
at least I'm dressed. This motherfucker's in a robe.
First of all, this is a hooded smoking jacket.
I'm sorry. This motherfucker's in a Snuggie.
It's a smoking jacket. Thank you very much.
Anyway.
But I think with Cardi B, I think that she, much like the City Girls, I think they stay in the comments of Twitter and Instagram too much. You are not going to win a fight with Stan Twitter. You're just not. You're not. It can be Nicki Stan Twitter. It can be Cardi Stan Twitter. It can be Taylor Swift Stan Twitter.
They're gonna dogpile your ass.
They're gonna drag your ass to a
They're
gonna find every dirty tweet you ever made. They're gonna
find and I vote for everybody black.
And they're gonna get you.
Even the problematic straight black men, I vote for y'all too.
So just I actually do like Cardi B. I want everyone to know I do like Cardi B. I just wish that she would stay off of Twitter trying to fight with stans. It's Beyonce would never. Rihanna would never.
Well, no,
ever.
she did. No, she did back in the
Rihanna
day.
has clapped back a handful of times, but it's nothing like Cardi. Like Cardi B will legitimately there have been times where it felt like every other week she was going.
Evelyn, I was wondering if you were still with us. I was like, Evelyn being quiet. Thank you. I'm so down that you're still with us.
Okay, but here's the difference between those artists and Cardi B. Cardi B has basically built her whole empire on interactions with fans on social media.
But you can. I didn't say don't.
No, wait, Tristan. Tristan.
But
you have to really listen to what they are saying, because Mo is basically pointing out a thing about the difference between Beyonce's fame did not come from internet interactions. Internet interactions are something that she has utilized later in her career. No shade when I say later at all, but later in her career to garner mass hysteria. Because let's be clear, when Beyonce does anything on the internet, it's mass hysteria.
It's a marketing tool,
right?
Clearly.
Right, but that's not
I'm releasing an album, at midnight.
That's not her bracket. That's Cardi's bracket. That's the City Girls bracket. That's Sweetie's bracket. Beyonce's bracket is Le Studio. Period. I'm sorry. Le Studio and Le Stage, and that's it.
So I get what you're saying, Tristan, as far as, a typical artist, like there comes to a point that, you can't listen to all the haters and, respond to all of it. But her career, her empire is basically based on interacting and those fans on that level. So it's hard for her to to pull away from that when that's how she got her following and that's how she got her big break.
I mean, I understand.
I'm sorry. Wait, one more thing, Tristan. One more thing, Tristan. I just want to throw this. I was listening to the City Girls the other day, and JC said, I can't quote it directly, but she basically made a comment saying, like, of course I like being me. That's how I got famous. I got famous being me.
That's cool.
I'm sorry for these ladies, for these women who have gone from I don't know what the word, I don't want to say, like from being just normal to, I hate that word. I'm sorry for these ladies who have gone from just being everyday people to becoming celebrities, artists, and not just regular artists. You have somebody like Cardi B who just broke another record last week. You have to ask them to stop doing or criticize what they did to get where they are.
I'm not criticizing fan interaction, but what I will say, and this is factual, I see it on Twitter every time. Every time Cardi does something, Nicki Minaj trends sometimes higher than Cardi does. When Nicki does things, Cardi don't trend. No, when Nicki does things, nobody is talking about Cardi. Mm-hmm. When Cardi does something, people are talking about Nicki because you've made it a habit. When you do something, you bring up Nicki and you go straight to it. I feel sad.
I want to throw something at you. I'm a new woman who is also a rapper.
Right.
And now Nicki Minaj at this point is the only woman who is rapping. Not only is she the only woman who's rapping, she's rapping better than most of these dudes. And there's a whole slew of women who are coming behind her ready to straight murder. Cardi, Mulatto, Doja, Megan, and even the City Girls, they might not be lyrically as astute, but what they can do is create a bop. Let's be clear, right? So you have all these women who are rappers coming behind them who are, I'm not going to say better rappers, but are garnering enough buzz that's equal or better than some of these male rappers, right? So as a new rapper, I interact with Nicki Minaj and it is somehow negative, right? Cool. From that point on, I will be connected to Nicki Minaj. People are like Nicki Minaj because she's I'm not shading Cardi B when I say this, because she's beyond me, meaning that she has a whole 10-year career before I even started. She's not gonna always be synonymous with me because her whole career, 10 years, only involved me for a minute. However, my career at its infancy involved her because she also allowed it. Nicki Minaj wait. Nicki Minaj, by engaging with Cardi B, because there's a lot of beef that Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, point in case. Jocelyn tried to beef with Cardi B, and Cardi B just didn't respond. There's a lot of beef that they both just ignored by engaging in that interaction. You're saying you feel sorry for Cardi B, but the thing about it is that beef wouldn't be there if it wasn't mutual.
I think this is it from the past few years, from what I've seen, consistently from one person, not
Cardi.
Nicki, from one person, you continuously feed into this narrative. Nicki has let it go and moved on. And the reason why I feel sad, let me finish. The reason why I feel sorry for her is because whenever if the City Girls trend, if Doja Cat trends, if Megan trends, if Mulatto trends, they have their moments, and they beef with other, and they have little beefs and little things with other female rappers. But when they are successful or they drop a single or something happens,
right?
We talk about the art, the music, etc. I told somebody the night of the Grammys, the moment Cardi B came out in the outfit she came out in, I said, now listen, somebody on her team don't like her, because I guarantee you on Twitter in the next 10 minutes, they're going to eat her, because this looks very similar to what Nicki Minaj wore in Motorsport.
However,
the
only reason I'm saying this is because, like, let's be clear, this is not just a solo thing with Nicki and Cardi. Jennifer, like, there's a whole thread of Jennifer Lopez biting Beyonce.
Here's the deal. I'm not.
But my point is this: like, if you're one of those people who feels like no publicity is bad publicity, then even if I'm a female if I'm a woman who's a rapper and I'm constantly being compared to arguably the best woman rapper who's rapping right now, I don't mind.
You say
okay,
that.
But here's the thing, though. You have to remember, Cardi B even said it publicly when she was on Love and Hip Hop. If I beef with a chick, I beef with her forever.
Receipts.
So this is what she said out of her own mouth. She don't give a fuck that Nicki Minaj just let that shit go, because she said, no, we got beef forever. Forever.
That is the most.
And she is keeping it real, because
she can keep beefing, that's fine.
We beefing forever.
Right. So here's the thing: the Cardi B is known due to her fans. So if she's basically giving her fans the red meat that they want. Period. Because this is what she stated who she is.
Whenever I see it, it don't feel like it feels like she feels it very deeply and takes it very personally. And so all I'm simply saying, again, I could be wrong. I ain't with that girl. She might be chilling in her rich house.
Right.
Fine. And just
I think Cardi B, like we've been talking about, this is actually a common theme of tonight. These people who understand the show. I think Cardi B, even before Love and Hip Hop, understood the show. That's how she got on Love and Hip Hop. She understood.
Well, now allegedly she didn't really care to be on it, because she was really serious about having her career. And when she finally said, I'll do it, but I'm only going to do it for a limited amount of time.
My point isn't to say that her goal was to get on Love and Hip Hop. My point is to saying the people of Love and Hip Hop, the producers, casting people, were interested in her because she understood showmanship via her Instagram. She understands what people want, be it stripping, making a little Instagram post, whatever. She knew this is what people want to see. And that is how she ended up being. Like, let's be clear. Cardi B, her raps are great. She's admitted that she doesn't write all of her stuff. She's beautiful, but we all know she's had augmentation. She's talked about her augmentations. The thing, her talent, her innate talent is knowing what people want. And I don't care what nobody says. As an actor and a director trained, boo, that is a gift. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people can sing their ass off better than Taylor Swift. But Taylor Swift, the difference, Taylor Swift knows what the fuck people want to hear.
Okay, so
wait, I'm not done. I know you're gonna jump down my throat. My point in saying this is, let's not ignore the fact that knowing what people want is a gift. It's a talent. It's a sense. People like Clive Davis have it. People like Dallas Austin has it. Don't put no comment up when I'm talking and try to interrupt me, because that's your cousin. Because that's your cousin.
The people
that's your
need to see that.
I like you, Timmy Bell, but if you and Tristan gonna be teaming up on me offline and online, that's not gonna work,
bro. I'm not even texting. Like I ain't texting.
I didn't do that. I don't know who did that, but I didn't do that.
Me and my cousin, we literally just think on the same wavelength like that. We simpatico.
I'm gonna bring the comment back up. Tippy. But I'm just saying like this. You have to understand that. So to me, if you're saying that Cardi is emotionally invested in her beef with Nicki, I don't think she is. I think the stuff that pisses her off is the stuff that becomes like, honestly, let's be clear. They physically fought each other, but when they physically fought, it was because Nicki had made some sort of comment or
allegedly
to her child. Now, this is my thing.
I don't buy that.
This is my thing about that. I don't know, but that happened, right? So this is my thing about it. At the end of the day, these two ladies have both said that they don't really have that same kind of smoke. However, they'll probably be forever because women from New York, once they lay hands on each other, that's it. That's it. We didn't lay hands on each other. That's what that is. And I don't think they'll ever be in the room. Now, here's the thing. Let me go back to Talk It Out Duryea, not Sippy Kiki Duryea. Okay, Talk It Out Duryea. Don't do that. I know it's not Thursday, but Talk It Out Duryea says this: how beautiful would it be if Nicki and Cardi just had a kumbaya fucking y'all moment?
No, Tristan, mute his mic. I
can unmute it. Y'all. Okay,
I don't need. This is, you know what my real issue is. Let me tell the truth. I just wish that Cardi would put the effort that she spends into like the beef and the internet and all of that shit. I wish, yes, it was Ra Ali who.
Wait a minute.
Fighting. You didn't know that? Nicki didn't fight that girl.
No,
Nicki didn't fight that girl.
It was allegedly Ra Ali.
She threw a shoe and then Ra beat that bitch's ass and put a knot on her. Ra gave her that knot.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Actually, no, because Rod did a podcast or a YouTube and straight up said she gave the girl the knot. Like Rod.
Well, I mean, was just there in case, because I think the statute of limitations hasn't lapsed yet. So
allegedly.
Allegedly.
We need to make a whole clip of this show just with Mo being like allegedly. Okay,
honey. Look, if it keeps us from getting sued, I'll do it all day. Allegedly.
Everything we done said tonight is alleged. Even my opinions are alleged. Period.
Right.
And I said that on period. Go ahead.
I just wish that the energy that she spends on like internet beef and fighting with stands and all that stuff, put that same energy into like your rehearsal and performing. Like,
okay, but we're not featuring her for that. We're not featuring her for that.
That's not what the conversation was.
No, yo, because I watched
the disrespect of this one right here.
What?
I'm talking about him.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
Are we talking about performances? Let's be clear. Nicki doesn't even dance.
Hold on. First of all,
Nicki doesn't even try to dance.
Hold on. First of all, I didn't say she had to sit up here and do choreography because that's not everybody's thing. But what I will say is, if you're going to being a good performer doesn't always necessarily mean you gonna like dance down and do all that. Let me go to the Church of Beyonce real quick. In Homecoming.
Oh, stop! Because I'm the president of that motherfucking church. Let's go.
Oh wow!
In Homecoming,
how this conversation has evolved.
Beyonce speaks about rehearsal, and
I'm sorry. Let me create this banner.
Beyonce speaks about rehearsal, and she speaks about how when you're in the rehearsal space, you have to be humble because when you rehearse, it exposes you.
Tell it now.
These new bitches don't want to rehearse. Besides Doja Cat, Doja Cat is the only one.
You are telling lies. You are telling lies because you know somebody who's always at rehearsal, pressed and ready. Megan V is ready for a rehearsal.
And Megan, you're right.
Okay, don't do that.
But wait,
I don't want to take it from Megan.
Didn't Cardi B just posted some background of when they were doing WAP and how she was in and Up and how she was doing choreography?
No, Mo. Let him finish.
My bad.
She went to a rehearsal, but when you performed, it didn't look like you went to rehearsal.
Pause. Can I stop you right there? Here's the thing. Cardi B in her rehearsals, there's video of it because Sean Bankhead was doing his Bankheadiest.
I've seen the videos.
Okay, her videos in her rehearsal were amazing. Here's the difference. Are you ready for the difference? That uniform she was wearing was 18 pounds.
I know. 18
pounds. Now, here's my issue. They should not have put her in that 18-pound costume. Or they should have rehearsed in that 18-pound costume earlier, because what would have happened was Sean Bankhead would have been like, let's cut this. This doesn't work. Now, what happened was, I bet what happened was they didn't notice until dress rehearsal. Damn. And then it was too late. However, however, that doesn't change her ability to perform, because if you look at her track record, when she performed Press or the BET Awards, when she performed Money at the Grammy,
when she lip sync Press on the BET Awards,
I don't mind a lip sync. Let me tell you what, they trashed Lady Gaga for not lip singing at the inauguration. They said every singer I know, and I'm talking about people who are classically trained singers, said, if you know it's cold outside and you're not going to be able to give your best, sing to a track. And these are classically trained singers. These are motherfuckers who have degrees in that. I don't mind the lip sync either, because
why bring it up then?
Specifically, hold on. Excuse me, who? This truly been hitting. Yes.
Plug.
Okay, shameless plug. Tristan trying to get that truly money, honey.
I don't mind a lip sync if the lip sync is warranted. So like Britney Spears in her heyday was I watched the Dream Within a Dream tour last night. She was lip syncing the house down. Boo.
The only time a lip sync is not warranted is if you're doing some Kiki or some Jennifer or some Tasia. You know what I'm saying? Or some Faith.
But the choreography.
I feel like if you're
require that.
Kristen, I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to shade you. Have you ever sang and danced live?
Yes, many times.
When, child? When?
Child, first of all, sir, you know I was a whole theater person before I evolved.
Say when.
Say when. Say when. High School Musical at the Springer.
Okay, how old were you?
With Michael
how old were you?
Was there.
How old were you?
I was 22, 23.
And what solo did you sing?
Somewhere over the rainbow.
All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. Make sure you check us out on YouTube.
Okay. Wait. Pull it back in. So my point is that actually singing and dancing, even a little bit of dancing,
it's difficult. I know it is. I'm not.
So when you're doing, like, you have to realize Grammy performers are on a different level. Grammy performers are on a different level of performing. They have to give what it's supposed to give. So at the end of the day, because I'm gonna refer back to you. I wish I had a clip. I wish I was the Real Housewives producers right now, because I would show a clip of you last week trashing the City Girl. It wasn't giving what it's supposed to give.
That was not giving what it was supposed to have.
My point. The reason I'm glad you said that is this. Audience have such a high expectation. We want, especially when it's a woman, because I'm sorry, a man could have walked on stage and did what the City Girls did and nobody would have blinked an eye. When it's a woman, we expect.
It is a higher expectation.
We expect different. With men, a man could really come on stage with a mic, throw around a t-shirt, talk like shit, never move from one motherfucking spot, and curse and grab his dick and all the shit.
They do the cage animal where they walk back and forth on stage.
But my point is saying like this. My point is saying it's a different standard for women. So to say that there's a problem with a woman, because women rappers don't normally do choreography at all.
And that's fine.
The fact that she's trying. The fact that she is trying, City Girls are trying, Megan is trying.
They ain't trying to do choreography.
Have you seen their Grammy? Have you seen their BET performances? Sean Bankhead was bankheading, and he was getting them together. Period.
He tried.
And they did good.
It wasn't giving.
It gave me everything I needed and wanted. I love it.
Because you're a stan.
It's not that I'm a stan. Okay, let me rephrase this. Because guess who I'm not a stan of? I'm not really a big fan of Doja Cat. I think she's talented. I think she's beautiful. It just doesn't do it for me. However,
performs down.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not a hater. I appreciate that there are these women who are rapping, who are bringing all elements of showmanship together. Am I going to buy a Doja Cat CD No. Are there songs that I like with her on it? Yes. Is it my type of music? No. Do I respect her artistry? Period. No question. So
I am feeling that new song she just came out with SZA.
I haven't heard it yet, but my point is saying
it wasn't giving what it was supposed to give.
You are just so impossible.
I love her, but I didn't like that song.
But you know what? That was supposed
to say
but no. Wait. That was supposed to be like another pop version of Say So.
Say So, right. But you know what? The only Doja Cat song I don't like is Say So. And I know it's her biggest hit.
Really?
It's literally the only Doja Cat
song
I don't really like.
Say So was a bop.
I disagree with something that Darier said.
Why does he do that?
When he says that a man can just go on stage and just like grab his dick, yes, they do that. And guess what? I think those performances suck. But when you look at a Drake, there is an energy, there is a showmanship to when Drake performs.
Drake is more exception than the rule, though.
I don't disagree. But that's what I mean by like with the City Girls. I wasn't mad because they weren't doing choreography in that little clip I sent in our group chat. It was just the energy was very like, I'm here. Where the bag at, nigga? Where the bag at? Like that's what it was. That's what it was given.
Well, look, if you rap about scamming on a rich
nigga, you right.
So of course they're gonna scam them doing performances. I'm not surprised by that.
I don't think City Girls fans give a shit. Like if I'm being real, I don't think they give a fuck. Like Doja Cat fans, like me, they're the ones who want like artistry, performance, choreography, energy, showmanship. The City Girl people just want to go to the club and eat hot Cheetos and twerk.
Well, first of all, hot wings.
Not hot Cheetos.
But first of all, it's hot wings, not hot Cheetos.
No, he's right. It is hot Cheetos and Sprite remix.
Anyway, that's good day. I'm done with y'all. I'm done with both of y'all. Anywho. Now I know I just brought up Doja Cat and SZA's new song. Did you see the video yet? Did you see the video? The video was I appreciate that they used the not used, but I mean they had a Asian model.
Right.
Because he was gorgeous. He was beautiful. I appreciate that because they're spreading that there's more. Absolutely, and I definitely appreciated that, and in my whole lesbian self, I was like, oh, look at them, they looking all cute in the bed. And it made
it's a good video.
It's a good video. It is.
While we're on the subject of Doja Cat, if people who know me know, I'm not gonna sit there and lie. I stan Doja.
You seem like a Doja stan.
And it's just because for what I like in terms of like music and performance, and
I'm gonna say some real shady shit when we get off the air. So I'm not gonna say now because I like my network, I like my company, and I want to keep it. I do not want to be canceled, but I will say it to your ass when we get off the air.
But I love, like, from the videos to the performances, Doja's level of artistry is. It's thoughtful and I appreciate it. And I understand that I understand that she has a major label deal, so she has more money to do things like that. So I completely understand. At the same time, I don't think that not having the budget is an excuse because Dawn is an independent artist and Dawn has consistently given us artistry.
Look, you done brought up the wrong one into this conversation because I was making an adult to Dawn. Child boo, baby locks.
Dawn is a good example of you may not have a major label and like all this money, but that doesn't mean you can't still be artistic and have a vision. But
you literally just ruined your own point by bringing her up because you just made me think of 85 things that's wrong with Doja Cat. I'm sorry. As an artist.
What 85 things? Specifically about what I spoke about artistry and performance and showmanship. Right. Don't bring up no controversy. Right. Don't bring up no.
I don't even know those. I'm going to tell you what. Only thing I know about Doja Cat is her music and her performances. So there's that. I'm going to preface it by saying this. Doja Cat is talented as fuck. She's beautiful, and he walks on screen.
I'm listening. I have to charge my earphones again, bitch.
Don't yell at me off screen and call me a bitch in front of all these people.
And then on top of that, you see your tiny whitey boxers.
Anybody watching?
This is gym shorts.
This is why you cannot have company when you have a black family. My black brothers and sisters, This is why you can't have company when you got a black family, because they will embarrass you every time. Period.
Wait a minute now.
Anyway, listen, y'all know me. I'd be like, Mama, can so-and-so come to stay over? Y'all knew y'all regretted that as soon as they got there because you thought your family was going to act different because you had company. No. Anyway, having said all of that, this is my thing about Doja Cat. Sometimes, all the time, most of the time,
oh Lord,
I would say 70% of the time.
Just spit it out, Derry.
Doja Cat is doing things to do them. Like her whole flapper performance at the AMAs, I was like, "This is cute, but why? Like, what are you saying?"
Because
she did that to me. I'm sorry. I'm giving my spiel. In my opinion, as I watched it, I was like, "Oh, you did that to do it, not because it was."
Wrap it up. I'm just saying.
But at least you called me B. Beyonce shit. Anyway, I just feel like Doja Cat is one of those performers who has not yet decided what she is. To me, she's a lot of arbitrary. It's all good, it's all awesome, but it's never consistent. Meaning, what's the through line of all their performances? Like, what is the story?
City Girls ain't making an artistic choice whatsoever. So
no, let's be clear. City Girls' art is about their struggle.
Child by.
You can disagree. That's fine.
They are consistent on that.
But they're consistent about the things they talk about are JT being in jail, Carisha having to deal with all her pregnancies. They're consistent about their music. Their artistry is about their actual life and what it was like growing up in Miami, being girls who they were, scamming niggas, and that's their art. Like, to me, art doesn't. This is the thing about artists. People feel like art has to be complex. It doesn't.
No.
Art doesn't have to be complex. And when I look at Doja Cat to me comes off as one of those people who feels like art needs to be complex.
No.
And no. You can't tell me what I think. Now, you can tell me what you think, but I'm telling you, for me, it comes off to me that Doja Cat feels like art needs to be complex. So when she did that flapper thing, she did the flapper thing right after she did this whole alien show. Literally two polar opposites of things. You did a 1920s performance of all modern music right after doing a performance where you were literally an alien on another planet. Wait. So to me, I feel like sometimes you have to realize, like, and the thing about it is, we're praising her for her artistry. But when I ask you this, what story is it telling? Now, as an artist, the thing I've learned, and I'm not a guru, but the thing I've learned from not only my mentors, but also other artists I look at is there's a story. What story are you telling? I don't understand the story that she's trying to tell. Now, I say that saying this. Does that mean that she's not trying to tell a story? No. Does that mean that she's not telling a story? No. What I'm saying is, for me, I don't understand the story she's trying to tell. So for me, when people praise her for her artistry, I just see a lot of arbitrary acts.
Okay.
I don't see art. I see a lot of arbitrary acts. I don't see a consistent storyline. I do see art. I don't see a consistent storyline.
Okay, and this is where I got to push back on a little bit.
Go in.
I don't think it's necessary that you have to have a consistent storyline with you being an artist. Okay. I think that you can put out little things based on your creativity as of that moment, because art is very subjective.
I'm not saying that she's not.
And furthermore,
I'm just expressing my opinion. I'm sorry.
Right, and
I'm just expressing my opinion.
And I understand that, and I'm pushing.
I'm talking to Tippy.
And I'm pushing back on that opinion because I feel that Doja Cat is kind of like the Bjork of hip hop.
Bjork?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
puts out a lot of
dress Bjork?
No, yes, like okay, but if you look at Bjork musically, she puts out a lot of abstract shit. And that's exactly what Doja Cat does. She puts out a lot of abstract shit. And just because she puts out abstract shit doesn't discount anything that she does as an artist. I feel like just because she has a alien show one day and a 1920s flappers theme the next day, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because again, there's a audience for that.
Facts. I think
I'm not. So that's why I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do, girl. All right, girl.
I'm
I'm
not
with
in
it.
Doja's. I'm not on Doja's team, creative team, but I think
Yes, you are.
this is what I think.
You're totally on the team.
They pay me.
I know. I
On the
feel like
payroll.
it. Listen.
So
Right along with Tippy.
in terms of like the performances, I know Doja did like all the major award shows, which kind of happened one after another after another. Everyone wants you to keep performing Say So. We would call her boring if every single performance we got of Say So was like the similar choreography or if it was similar staging,
Right.
similar whatever. I
Right.
think the idea behind all the performances were to show just how versatile she was. Because then she did the EMAs a couple of weeks after the AMA performance where she was a flapper. And on the EMAs, she did like an Evanescence, like rock version of Say
And it
So.
shows how timeless that song is.
Right. So I think I think
I'll
the
give it
goal
that.
I think the goal of the creative team and her and everyone is to say, hey, here's this girl who can do all the things. And these are all the things that make up her, and not pigeonholing her as I think she was working overtime to not let Say So pigeonhole her as just, yes, she is the cowgirl
Yes,
queen. She is the
that was the Moo song. The
moo
Moo song. Yeah.
cowgirl. But if the people, I just want to suggest one thing for the people who are listening. If you can right now, go to your YouTubes, and I would like you to type in Streets and watch Doja Cat's video for Streets. Streets
I
is
so
one.
thought you was about to plug the channel. I was proud for 3 whole seconds, and then you didn't plug the channel.
I mean,
It's
we
cool.
can plug that.
Plug another person's channel, Tristan. Why you on this one? I'm fine with that.
We talking about.
No. Send viewers somewhere else. I'm fine.
Anyway, y'all, I love Doja Cat like already, but when the Streets video came out, like for me, that solidified like, okay, she makes like, sometimes I think we find artists, you feel like they make art for you. Like I feel like Kanye makes art for me. I feel like I feel like Rihanna makes art for me. I felt like Britney Spears made art for me, and I haven't felt that way
now.
in a long time.
And I'm not like I think we confuse what I'm saying here.
I see your point. Like you
What's
feel
my
like
point?
you feel like there is a level of randomness and just doing something to say you did it.
Right. Let me just say my thing emphatically. As a teacher, I always tell my artists, like, there is a balance that you have to strike between expression and telling a story. There's an artistic part as an artist who's making money doing art. There's 2 parts of it. Now, if you're not making money doing art, you can ignore the second half. But if your goal is to make money doing art, there's 2 parts. There is the artistic expression, and then there's the logistics of being a salesman, right? In order to be a salesman, one thing all salesmen have to be is consistent. They have to be dependable.
Right.
Even being unexpected needs to be expected. We need to be able to expect a certain level of unexpectedness. To me, the reason that Doja Cat has never landed on me is because it feels random, arbitrary. Like, I'm going to do everything I just didn't do. So I don't never know what to expect. Therefore, the way it lands on me is some of her stuff I enjoy, some of her stuff I do not enjoy. That's the thing about it. That's what happens when you do arbitrary. And honestly,
are you her demographic though?
Let's be clear.
Right.
I was about to say this. Doja Cat may not be targeting me. However, as a salesman, you should be targeting everybody. I don't go into. Let me be clear. Let me say this. As a waiter, I don't target only the clients that look like I want them to look. Every table that gets sat in my motherfucking section, I want them to give me a good tip. Period. As a salesman, you don't get to choose. You don't get to choose who you're going to give. I'm sorry. If you're a salesman as a waiter, that's how I look at it, because I was a waiter. As a server, if I'm a salesman who only gives my best service to white people, and then when black people don't tip me well, even though I didn't give them good service, and I go, oh, well, they're not my demographic. The real fault isn't because it's not, I can't fault them for not being my demographic. The real reason they didn't give me a good tip is because I didn't even target them.
Yeah, but that's a
But like
false
the same,
So to me, I don't feel it's a false equivalency because let me be clear. You have to look at people like Beyonce. Beyonce wasn't targeting little white girls.
But I was going to bring up City Girls.
Beyonce was not targeting little white girls. Beyonce was
up until Beyonce's self-title. Yes, she was.
She was.
I disagree. As somebody who's
all day.
No. Part one, I disagree. But my point is this: you have a demographic. Beyonce's music was geared towards black people, and so to me,
no, it wasn't.
That's fine. So to me, I feel like this as an artist.
You said that all day.
Okay, so you're sitting here telling me that an artist wants to pigeonhole themselves.
Why would that be pigeonholing themselves?
No. You're saying right now is that your demographic. You look at people like Prince, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Whitney Houston, Cher, Tina Turner. I'm pointing out. My point is when you talk to a music artist and and you ask them what kind of career they want to have, just let me speak. They don't want to have a goddamn Tone Loc career. No shade to him. They want to have a Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson career. People who appealed to the masses, which means that you cannot pigeonhole your.
When you
it's not just. Let's be clear. Let me finish. You're not even letting me talk. Why is it no? Why is it no, Mo? Why is it no? Why is it no? Why is it no? That's not cool because I wouldn't do that to you.
You have.
I've never told you that you couldn't speak. I've never told you that you could not speak. I've never told you that you could not speak.
But after you,
I have never told you that you cannot speak, and you just told me that I can't. That's not cool.
Because here's what you do.
Because you decided that I can't speak.
No, because
guys, we can't fight in front.
Go ahead. It doesn't matter. It's too late because you sit here and tell me that I cannot speak.
No, but here's what you do.
I got you. I see what I do.
No, here's what you do. You say, okay, well, let me finish.
Because I'm not done.
But you interjected on what somebody else said.
No, I didn't. He was done. He was done talking. And I began.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead and say what you're going to say, Derek. Go ahead.
As an artist, you want to appeal, and you can cover your face, and that's
I'm not covering my face. I'm adjusting.
Anyway, as an artist, are you telling me that an artist does not want to be appealing to the masses? You can say white people, and that's fine. White people are a part of the masses. They're not the only part of the masses, because that would suggest that people like Beyonce and Michael Jackson weren't being listened to by black people, like Prince, because white people started listening to his music, black people stopped. At the end of the day, the artist wants everyone to appeal to them because they are a salesman. They want to make more money. A salesman doesn't say, a salesman who wants to be successful, they don't say, I only want my money spent by white people. No, they want everybody to buy their product. So to me, when I look at her, I feel like, and you're saying that I'm not her target, but I feel like I am her target as someone who wants to expand their brand. Because anybody who's signed to a major record label, if you didn't want to expand your brand, you would literally, like Tristan said, do what Dawn did. Dawn makes music specifically for her fans. If she wanted to make music for the masses, she would have gotten a record deal with all the people who offered her one. But she didn't. That wasn't her goal. Doja Cat is trying to be mainstream, which means she wants a mass appeal. So to me, my personal opinion of her art is that it's arbitrary. I don't get who she is other than random. And maybe that's what she is. I'm not saying that. She could honestly be the girl who's like, I just want to be random girl. That's fine. If that's who she is, I get that. But otherwise, I don't understand her story with Megan Thee Stallion, with Cardi, with even the City Girls, with what's her name, Mulatto, with Cash Doll, with Light Skin Keisha. I get what they're selling. With me, with Doja Cat, it feels like she does things to say, and people are like, oh, it's so artistic. But to me, what people are responding to as artistic is just arbitrary. And I just don't agree.
So I want to piggyback on what Mo was saying, because I want to try to maybe explain, if it's okay with you, Mo, or flesh out what she was saying about Beyonce. If you look at Beyonce's solo career, everything before the self-titled Beyonce album, there is a definite moment where Beyonce clearly, I don't think she was necessarily trying to make music for white people early in her career, but she definitely was going out of her way to not turn those people off. And then when the subtitle and everything from the self-titled album afterwards, it's clearly Beyonce
incorrect.
don't give a fuck.
It was Lemonade. It was Lemonade.
Okay,
it was
Lemonade.
Lemonade.
Fine. If you want, it can be
yeah,
whatever.
it was Lemonade.
Lemonade. Fine, whatever.
Formation.
But the point is, there is a very specific. There's a delineation in Beyonce's catalog where she clearly did not care what the mainstream, aka white people, had to say about her, and I think that's what Mo was getting at. Now, when you speak about, I just want to, because am I right, Mo? Did I kind of?
No. Yes and no. The point that I was trying to make is that every example that Duryea was talking about, when you talk about the Michael Jacksons, when you talk about the Prince, when you talk even Whitney Houston was booed at the '89 Soul Train Awards due to the fact that the black community didn't feel like that she was being marketed towards the black community.
That's a group. I'm sorry, that's the audience of the Soul Train Music Award.
No, that's the consensus of the people at the time.
So that is the audience at the Soul Train Music Awards booing
and that
her.
Was also
that is not
consensus.
People not buying her albums that were black. People, I'm sorry. Okay, when you said what year?
This was like 89.
89. That was when she came out with what? What
that
albums?
That was her first album.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're taking the fact that one crowd booed her to say that all black people were not fucking with her, and the
point what I was trying to make is that she wasn't being marketed for black people. She was being marketed for mainstream artists. So basically, Doja Cat is using the same principles as these same big artists that you gave as an example. She is marketing herself towards the masses. So, i.e., she's
so
not.
Then you just proved my point.
No, I'm proving
because you said that I was not her demographic, but I said I was because I'm part of the masses.
The masses, I'm meaning white young girls and boys.
Masses would literally mean everybody.
No, I'm meaning the white demographic that these other artists had. This is the same pop playbook that has been used for the past 40 years. And so you're not a part of that demographic that they're concerned about. So that's the only thing I was trying to say.
And I think to lighten the mood a little bit, I think like you brought up like Mulatto and City Girls and
to say that I understand their message,
and that's what I'm getting to. I think
No. I didn't break the reason I just interjected Tristan wasn't to interrupt him. Is clearly I thought that would be the next comment. I'm not saying Mulatto's mainstream. I brought up them only to say that me as an individual, I understand their message and I don't understand hers.
And and that's the point I want to get to. I think you understand their message because you know their story. Like their story is in their music and their story is kind of woven into their personalities, into their social media, and that's their brand. I think with Doja Cat, she, like Mo was saying, she goes with the pop formula. So it's not like her raps are not about like her life and how she grew up and scamming.
You're once again proving my point.
But I don't think that doesn't mean you don't know who the person is, because most pop artists, they don't necessarily in their music talk about like
here's the thing though. Doja Cat utilizes a certain art form, right? And in this art form, the history of that art form is about personal expression, expressing your personal experience. That art form is called hip hop.
Missy Elliott's a hip hop artist, and she don't. And her rap songs are not like these deep things about her life. It
doesn't have to be deep. It doesn't have to be deep. But it does not have to be deep. Missy Elliott absolutely expresses herself and her story without being deep.
But
I can't stand the rain. I'm sorry. I can't stand the rain. You're telling me that's not a deep song?
So wait,
when the rain hits my window, I take a ooh ooh.
Let me make sure I have this right. You're saying that within hip hop, that you have to be vulnerable as an artist in order to be considered authentic. Is that correct?
What you're saying?
So what are you saying that with hip hop?
I'm saying that hip hop, it is very often that is a massive part of it. Most artists who are taken seriously, considered legendary, iconic, are artists who express inner turmoil in their music. Every artist you can think of who consider legendary, iconic, not every, because there's some who like I don't know his name, but the man who did the first rap song, which was about
Sugar Hill
dancing.
Gang.
Sugar Hill Gang, yeah, that's not one because there's people like Sir Mix-a-Lot, but these are people who are iconic for one song. They're not iconic for their body of work. The people who we're talking about are iconic for their body of work came out with the booty shaking songs, but then also could then do "This Is My Trauma, This Is My Pain," and we expect them. And it's not just rap. We also expect that from rock. We also expect that from rock artists. Who?
I said Luke did that because I could have sworn Luke just had a whole bunch of booty shaking.
I wouldn't like.
When was
to
he
me,
vulnerable?
I wouldn't consider him. Okay, that's that. You're absolutely right. That's an example, and I will say you're right. But that's an outlier.
When
that's an outlier.
When was Snoop vulnerable to the point that you're expecting?
You're saying, listen, you can find a Snoop song where he talked about his struggles. I promise you, you can. Now, if you're saying that Luke, I will give you that one. This is my thing about it. But you're mentioning an outlier. You can until you can mention 20 outliers versus 20 actual consistencies. That's my thing about it. If we're talking about,
we got, because I mean, we can go down.
I'm talking about icons. If you can mention 20 icons that only did dance music, then I'll concede. But to me, I feel like it is a very common in rap, and honestly, because not R&B, because a lot of times R&B artists aren't expected to write their own music because rappers are generally supposed to be writing stuff that they wrote about them, allegedly. So essentially, my perception of that is that rap artists are expected to have certain authenticity. Yes, we want to have hot in here. Nelly's another example who just wrote dance hits. I haven't heard every song. He might have had some deep ones. Dilemmas, basically. I mean, arguably. But I think that in general, hip hop artists are held to a different standard because hip hop artists are held to a different standard, not only with they need to be writers, but also there's a certain level of vulnerability that we expect from them. I'm not saying that Doja Cat hasn't given that. What I'm saying is that essentially when I look at her music, more her performances too, and the videos and the imagery, to me, what it looks like, not what it is, what it looks like is I want to do things that people don't expect me to do so they can talk about them. Instead of being things that I really want people to like dig into, like, and that to me, I'm not saying it's not artistic. I'm saying that people fall for that as calling that being the only version of artistic.
I think why,
and that's my issue. It's like people look at my issue is that we're saying that Doja Cat being random and all over the place is the only acceptable form of art. When the truth is, we're saying the city goers aren't artistic when they really are. They just are a different type of artistic.
But nobody, I on this panel, who has said, well, outside of Tristan?
I have not.
There you go. There you
go. Tell the truth. I've never said they weren't artistic. I said the performances wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. That's what I said. I see.
However, real sipping Kiki tonight.
Right. However, Tristan is making that exact same point about Doja Cat. That Doja Cat is not giving what she should have been giving.
You're saying Tristan's saying that, or I'm saying that?
I mean, that's what you're saying.
It's not that yes and no, Mo. Let me say this. It's not that I don't expect her to give anything. This is me as an artist. And I hate to keep saying it because I feel like such a snob, but as an artist, I feel like this, like, every time I see art, my question is always, what are you saying?
Okay.
If I can't get what you're saying, maybe it's me. But after I've seen like 4 or 5 of your pieces, once again, it could just be me. I'm not going to deny it. It could just mean that I don't get her art. Doesn't make her a bad artist. It just means that maybe I just don't get it. But to me, that's why I keep saying to me, when I look at her art, it feels just like she's showcasing her talents and less like she's telling me something.
And the point I was trying to make, the point I was trying to make is that it's abstract, and furthermore, it's not really marketed towards you per se anyway. That's the only point that I was trying to make. And because she is on a pop.
Because you're saying it's about white people.
I wasn't gonna say all that, but what I will say
that's
is
what they said. So
I see Dirier. I understand Dirier's point when he says that he feels like, okay, we call Doja artistic, but then we don't give the city girls the same credit. I see your point. I do.
Is she a better lyricist? Sure, but are we saying that that's not art? Like,
I think it's a valid criticism. However, I will say here's the caveat. I think what separates or what difference is that if I think when people think of artistic, they always go, okay, have I seen someone do this exact thing? Like if I watch your music video, right? Does your music video look like every other hip hop video with like clothes and some money and some stuff? Or is there something in it that makes it a little bit like I think one thing I love about Cardi B, I think like the money video, it feels like a hip hop video, but there's a little, I don't want to say elevation to it, but like there's more going on. There's a little bit more thought behind it. It's taken up a notch.
There's a lot of symbolism and allegory in it.
Right. And I think that's what people miss when they look at like a City Girls video or a Mulatto video.
But that goes back to the point I was making before, Tristan. People feel like art has to be complicated, and it does not. Let me just say this as an example. Let me just give this as an example. If goddamn Leonardo da Vinci paints a painting, we decide that's art. If Tommy in kindergarten and we tell Tommy, here's some paint and some glues and some popsicle sticks, and we want you to express how you feel today, and he does, that's art.
I agree. And
that's my point. That's my point. We've decided that art has to be this goddamn.
They're artists. So all these people, we would freely admit, are artists and are producing art.
Even if they just talk about their pussies or they dicks.
You're right.
Or it's a different type of art.
But I think what the disconnect is, I think colloquially, when we use the word artistic or when we're talking about art, colloquially.
Oh, okay. Yes. You see my neck just had to lift up.
I like that.
Yes. But no,
I had to sit up in my seat.
Come on, get down with the vernacular.
Yes.
Okay, we know the real definition of art is any kind of visual, whatever medium you can produce, visual medium, auditory, any kind of expression is art. But I think when people talk about something being artistic in a colloquial way, like just amongst our friends and we're Kiki,
right now, y'all. I'm sorry.
We're
arguing. This is us arguing.
No, we're not arguing.
This is our version of arguing.
We just talking.
I think we're speaking about did that person do something that required a little bit extra effort and a little bit of extra thought, or did you just show up on set that day and put on a cute outfit and stand there? And guess what? There's nothing wrong with that because clothing is art.
But let me give you my expression. Let me give you my example of why Taylor Swift cannot ever go toe to toe vocally with Jennifer Hudson.
Not at all.
But she sells more records. Why?
I think. Can I be honest?
Let's take away that she's a pretty white girl and Jennifer Hudson's a loud black girl.
I'm not going to even that.
Yeah, okay. Let's take away.
But
why not? Because that is the main reason.
That is a big reason. But that is a big reason. But it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. It's because
you and Jennifer Hudson stand. So you're gonna get mad when I say what I want to say.
I don't think I am. I might agree with you. Listen, I'm a Jennifer Hudson stand, but what I'm not is blinded.
Yeah,
Jennifer Hudson. Period.
Jennifer
she
Hudson
can't put out a bop to save her life.
I was gonna say Jennifer Hudson has yet to have a good a song.
Can I tell you why?
Go ahead.
Jennifer Hudson doesn't put out personal music, except for the songs about her mother.
It doesn't have to be.
Let me say. Taylor Swift puts out personal music.
I don't think that's
not all of it. I wouldn't say 100% of it, but a majority of her music. Taylor Swift's is personal. Jennifer Hudson.
There are artists who are huge that don't do personal music.
Let me just say it, Tristan. I'm comparing these two, not other artists. These two. Jennifer Hudson.
Just let him finish because he ain't gonna stop until he finishes.
Right. Jennifer Hudson, the music that is most personal. Like I love all her music. Let's be honest, and I know all of it by heart. The music that's most personal is the music about her mother. The other music seems like music a producer said you would sound good singing this. And does she sound good singing it? Absolutely. Does that buy her an audience? No, because it's not personal. Taylor Swift has literally wrote albums about exes. Even if it's just as trivial as an ex, it's personal. People buy into that. Also, she's a pretty white girl. But that is a big difference. Even Beyonce, even Baby Boy was personal. Artists, when they're dealing with something personal, it feels different. An artist standing on stage and just hitting every note perfectly, we love it. We clap, we applaud. When an artist, now this is one thing she does do. She might not pick personal songs, but she sings them live personally, Jennifer Hudson, which is why she gets more credit for her live performances than for her records. Because Jennifer Hudson knows how to personalize a song, but in her live music, recording it, it doesn't feel the same. That's the thing about it. That's the artistry. It's pouring that's what makes it art, in my opinion. It's pouring yourself into it. Whether you're talking about dick and pussy, or whether you're talking about the love of your life, you're talking about hardships, it's pouring yourself into that music. That's what makes it art. When you're just hitting notes, sometimes it's pretty, it's awesome. It's like, oh, they hit that note, but are we convinced that it is personal?
I see. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hold on. This is okay, and that's coming from the artistic perspective, but breaking it down from a marketing perspective.
Okay, go ahead.
The reason why she gets all that is because those songs are about alleged exes. So that she's been floating around and that's been seen on TMZ. So that's a marketing thing. You don't have that with J Hud, because J Hud tries to mind her own business, especially after that sad incident that happened with her family.
Right.
That's number one. Number two. I'm sorry, she doesn't have the best producers on her albums.
Thank you.
Due to the fact that R&B is kind of like what what's her name? There was an artist from the old day that Nikki Howell, one of them. She made the comment, which makes a hell of a lot of sense. The white people love R&B music. They just don't want to hear it from black people.
But I'm gonna be real. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And so you have somebody that is on a record label that probably doesn't want to spend that extra money to get those top tier artists, producers like a Zaytoven or even a Missy Elliott and Timbaland. Because let's keep it real, when Missy had that what is it called, the EP that came out with them 3 songs? But even with those songs wasn't even her best, they were still better than half the R&B shit that has been out, that's tried to be pushed mainstream.
I think that we are giving I see Dirie's point, and I think as an artist, like
before you say, I agree with yes, and I was saying those comparisons, ignoring those disparities. I know some people will be like, you can't ignore that. And I agree. My point is just to say that there are black women who do have attention, at least. The reason I use Jennifer Hudson is because as talented as she is, her music has never popped off the way Fantasia, Keisha Cole, who in my opinion, well, not Fantasia, but Keisha Cole is not as good of a singer as Jennifer Hudson, because Keisha Cole's music is personal. Like that, I guess that's the point I was trying to make.
I think, and that's where I'm going to respectfully disagree. I don't think the music has to be personal, because there are plenty of artists who make music that's impersonal and have great careers and have no offense, Jennifer Hudson. The reason why Jennifer Hudson has not popped off is because, if we're being frank, Jennifer Hudson can sing really well, but she doesn't have what I think most people would call good songs. It's not. I don't think it's because the songs aren't personal. You have people like a Britney Spears, an Ariana Grande.
You think those songs aren't personal?
I'm sorry. When you have
you think Christina Aguilera's songs aren't personal?
I didn't name Christina, but
I did, because come on, Dirty, come on, that's personal.
Yes, Dirt.
I'm gonna be a hoe. That's
Dirty is not about that. Dirty was literally about her stripping herself of the image at the end.
Okay, so and I'm a genie in a bottle.
About
rub me the right way.
I'm one way, but I'm actually another. That her whole career has been about, don't think you have me in a box, bitch, because I'm never in a bottle. I'm never in a box.
My headphones die, because they're gonna die very soon. So let me just get this point out real quick. I'm sorry. I think that we are giving too much credit. Like, first of all, if we as the consumer, we don't necessarily know it's personal unless you make us think it's personal. Like most times when you check the liner notes for these big artists, 20 people wrote the fucking song. So no, I don't think it's that goddamn personal because 20 motherfuckers wrote the song. However, the song is let me finish. However, if the song is good, if it's produced well, if it's written well, if it's sung brilliant, we gonna rock with it. Jennifer Hudson just hasn't had those songs. Like she hasn't. I don't know. I personally think it's a taste level. And when I say taste level, what I mean is I think the music that Jennifer Hudson likes to record is what she records. And I don't think that translates to the general public that well. I know you're a fan, and I'm sure
no.
Fans,
and I want to say this as a fan, I'm not that type of fan. I'm not like what I like about Jennifer Hudson is that she can sing the way she
sings down. She sings down. Period.
The songs that she likes, I like her songs. This is the thing about it, though. I've watched interviews. I've watched documentaries. Producers even are like, producers, we don't know what to do with her voice. And it's evident because every album she puts out sounds like a whole different singer. My point is saying this. You're saying those things. I agree with them all. People literally don't know what to do with her. And she has never stepped up and said, I'm not saying never, but she has like the songs that to me, she like when you say a song has like 20 writers, still a lot of times those writers are taking cues from the artist. Hey, this is what I want to talk about. They might be like, go write a journal about it and we'll make X, Y, Z in the third. A lot of times what it feels like is, oh, I'm going to get this songwriter to write a song for me. I'm going to get this producer to write a song for me. And it's not personal. Either way, I think the point I was trying to make is essentially that when you're making music or art in general, if it lacks personal appeal to the artist, it also disconnects for the audience. And this is something I tell everybody that I train. If you're not connected to your art, then neither will the audience be. For me, it's always been the sound of Jennifer Hudson's voice is too, girl!
I agree with that. Like, I'm not gonna lie. That's for me. I feel the same way.
I disagree with that 1,000%.
Wait, honey. Did you come from a Methodist church or AME Zion? You're not a Methodist? Just let me know in the comments, honey.
I'm just
come on, Tip, and talk to me.
I don't.
But Tristan, listen. This is a personal choice. My entire family don't like Beyonce, so that's a personal thing. We're talking about a general appeal, and I think what it is most people will agree that she can sing down, even if you don't like her voice. The notes she can hit, people aren't doing what she does. People aren't winning Oscars their first movie out the gate because of their voice alone. It's not happening. My point is just to compare her to Doja Cat and the other people, to say art is more than just vocal ability. It's more than just lyrical ability. Art is also about expression and depth in a lot of different ways. If you're asking me, does Doja Cat have hits? Yes. Is Doja Cat artistic? Sure. Are we going to say that Doja Cat is the only artistic person that is out there doing what she's done? No, like no. I don't want to.
But nobody said that either.
But that's you might not. That's the image.
I will say in terms of the when I say the girls, I mean like kind of the rap girls. Megan and Cardi are the only ones who are in my opinion, putting in as much effort artistically that Doja.
But here's my thing about it. This is why I want to say this. The reason that
Did he freeze?
Did he freeze? Oh, he froze. Well, we gonna keep going while he froze.
Right.
Go ahead, Queen.
Because the point of it is, it's not about musical talent. It's not about musical talent. No, it's about who's backing you. And at the end of the day, J Hud was not backed.
Am I back?
Because, well, yeah, you're back now.
Okay.
J Hud wasn't backed by by her label the way she should have been.
Period.
You know, the artists that other artists you were talking about, they're not getting the same level of backing as Doja's getting because.
Bye.
Sorry.
Not you. Somebody just sent me a message. Like they did a whole diatribe with me trying to get them to talk it out. And then once I told them what time it was, they were like, oh, I don't do politics. I told you the topic, the first message. Anyway,
Well,
Look, it's whatever. I feel like
it
this.
is.
At the end of the day, I'm just saying this. Like, I think when it comes to art, we need to be open to the fact that art doesn't have to look complicated. It doesn't have to look like something we've never seen before. Just because we've never heard a story before doesn't mean it's not artistic. Like, the same thing can happen to two people and they can both express it differently, and both versions of it are art. Doesn't mean the one we heard first is, doesn't mean the one that we heard first is art and the one that we heard second is not.
But you would agree with this, and I hope you'll agree with this. If you take someone you take a Megan or a Doja Cat, and then let's just say someone like Dawn, who doesn't have the backing like a Doja Cat and a Megan and a Cardi, someone like that, right? Whenever they have videos, there is clearly effort put into it, effort beyond just the regular wardrobe, makeup, etc. Like we went a step above. There's a concept. There is something here. I think that's what people see in terms of a Doja Cat versus a City Girls, even Mulatto to a certain extent. I'm not saying they're not artistic. I'm just saying if I watch a video,
I guess the reason that I have an issue with that is this. This is the real reason I have an issue with that. We relegate people like Cardi B, who has all this money and this massive team of people who aren't of color behind her. Let's be honest. And then we have people like Megan Thee Stallion, who are college educated, and Doja Cat, who are a certain level of educated beyond, and then we have just, I really don't want to, fuck it. We have people who just live regular ass lives, and we want to relegate them to say that their lives and them expressing their lives is not art. Like what Mulatto does, she does not dance. She cannot dance. She does not want to dance. That's not who she is. But what she's talking about, how she talks about it, even if she's standing on a car with a bunch of niggas around her, because that is her experience on this earth. Therefore, it is just as valid as art as somebody who straps pasties on their titties, puts a wig on, puts neon lights everywhere, does a goddamn digital screen, and interacts with that shit.
I don't think anyone's saying it's less artistically valid, though.
But you mentioned Mulatto. And to me, I have a hard time. Like, if we're going to talk about the City Girls, I can maybe fuck with you on that just because the City Girls are so raw. They're so new, right?
Right.
With Mulatto, she's not new to rapping. She just doesn't have the aesthetic that somebody like Doja Cat does. So we're looking at Doja Cat and saying, oh my God, look at her. She created this whole alien universe on her performance. She's so artistic. But Mulatto, all she did was stand outside of some cars at the strip club. That's not artistic. But
I don't no one's saying it's not artistic, but I think what people are saying is one took I'm trying to see how to say this
why would Mulatto ever do that? Let me ask you a question.
Well, Mulatto's independent, so she didn't have that same level of budget.
If you look at somebody like Mulatto and you talk about her story,
I don't want Mulatto to do what Doja Cat did, because Mulatto is not Doja Cat. That is not her lane. That is not her aesthetic. However,
you're saying she's not polished.
I'm not even saying that, because it's not about being polished. Not at all. No. But I do think that, like, so the best example I can give is
you muted.
I don't know how that happened.
Well,
you muted yourself.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
I can't hear y'all. Hold on. I gotta fix.
You can't hear me?
He can't hear. Okay,
his
so
earphones probably died. That's probably what it is.
did. Okay, so in the interim, I do want to the comment that I made, it was from Stephanie Mills, where she basically stated that white people like R&B music, they just don't like hearing it from black people. Which, I mean, if we notice the top pop artists, they don't, which is basically a derivative of R&B, and rock and roll, which, let's not forget it was started by black women.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Okay, can y'all hear me? I can't hear y'all.
We hear you fine.
We hear you.
You might need to log out and then log back in.
Yeah, try that, Tristan. Sorry, man.
Yeah, he's doing it.
Yeah, we may have to,
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up anyway soon.
Okay.
But I think the thing about the art that I get frustrated with is to say that people from I'm gonna just be blunt. I've been trying to beat around the bush, but I actually don't know how to say what I'm trying to say without saying it. I feel like we look at people from the hood who talk about hood shit in a hood way. We're saying that they're not doing enough work to be considered artists. Did you hear what I just said, Tristan?
I did. Sorry, my shit was messing up.
It's okay.
I see your point and I understand that's a valid criticism.
That's my issue. Is that just a person who is not wanting to do some sort of elaborate thing? We can't say, oh, they're not as. And that's what it looks like to me. And I think that's what it is that people are identifying with Doja Cat that makes her mainstream. It's
know who's a great example?
You know who's amazing things. And let's be clear, not only Doja Cat, but also Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion have all three of them done 1920s inspired acts on an award show.
I just want to say,
we've considered and we've applauded them. It's like so when I'm looking at it, it's like so all I have to do to be considered artistic is put on the goddamn flappers outfit and put on a press on, and then I look like I'm artistic.
I had a wonderful thought while I was trying to get my shit fixed. If you look at like a Bone Thugs and Harmony or even an Outkast, creative as fuck and still hood as fuck. It's literally they were it was not just
so 3 6 Mafia is not artistic.
First of all, anyone who makes music is artistic. When I think there is a I think there's a yeah, she don't do nothing. Like sis don't listen to nothing I listen to. But she did put me on this one.
Does throw down. I'm not gonna flex.
Now here's the irony with that statement: country music was created by black people.
Yo, she put me on this black dude named Kane Brown. He make real good, cute music.
Kane Brown is fine. He makes great music.
He makes cute
country music. Is black people's music. It's blues and gospel mixed together. That's all it is.
But
and K Michelle.
But okay. So I
don't. Dimitri, I'm assuming that you meant my statement. Thank God somebody in the audience fucks with me because I feel like I've been on a life raft tonight just by myself. Thank you. And if you not agree with me, I'm hurt. I'm wounded.
Your criticism is very valid, and I think it's a valid criticism, and I think we should be aware of not trying to erase someone's art simply because it's not highbrow, so to speak.
Well, we consider highbrow because
At the same time, though, I think it is totally fine to say, you know what, there's a difference in someone who said, okay, you know what, we just gonna
girl bye. You almost had it. Girl bye.
But I think we still have to give credit to
Mo. We got to deal with this all night.
We have to still give credit to people who, in terms of their art or what they produce, when they do something that doesn't look like what everyone else is doing or doesn't feel similar. I think the reason why Doja Cat kind of took off when she did in terms of the rap game is because she don't sound like and don't give you what everyone else is giving you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because my girls are big like Tia Tamera.
Okay.
Like Tia Tamera.
She's quirky. She's very quirky. She has a niche.
Right.
She has, and like that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want any of this to come off like I'm hating on her.
I'm not.
It's not that. It's that I want people to understand that when we're praising her for her artistry, and I'm trying not to use the WS phrase. I'm so hard trying not to use that. But when we're praising her for her artistry, we have to also realize what we're degrading. That is my issue. You might not think that's what you're degrading, but then but honestly, Tristan, the examples you brought up were all degradations of that.
I just brought up other people who were rappers, like that's just what and who were famous and rappers.
But my point is, and I'm not trying to attack you. What I'm saying is that's the narrative. Is that She is different because she is white.
She's black.
Not her and herself, but what she presents as, what she puts out. We've discussed this all night. She's gearing toward white people. She's putting out music for white. She's doing these things for white people. That's why we praise her. And that's my issue. That's my issue. That's been the narrative all night, is that because she's marketed toward white people, we also praise her in a way that we don't praise people who are marketed just strictly for black people, because that's not art. What's art is doing these things that are going to appeal to white people. And I'm sorry, we may not think that that's what we're saying, but that's the dog whistle.
They did it for Mariah. They did it for Whitney. So,
and that's not cool. Just because they did it doesn't. And my point is saying this, not taking away from Doja's doing. My point is to say, yes, Doja. I don't get her art, and that's what I've always said. I don't understand it. I don't understand her message. Like, what is she getting across? Megan, I get what she's getting across, and it doesn't have to be complicated. I understand it. I understand what the city girls are getting across. I'm not saying they're more artistic. I'm simply just saying I understand their message. I understand Mulatto's message, Jessica Dime, Light Skin Keisha, Flo Milli, even a little bit. I've heard from her, Cash Doll, Dream Doll. I get their messages. I don't understand Doja Cat's message. So when people tell me, I don't understand her message. So when people tell me that she's more artistic than the rest of the people, my initial response is, how can she be more artistic when her message is unclear? So when people tell me she's more artistic, my initial response is, it's not that she's not it's not that she's artistic, it's that she's white appealing. That's my response.
But Nikki was doing the same thing when she was coming up on when she did Pink Friday. She did the same thing.
I'm sorry, y'all. Dimitri, you gonna stop agreeing with me and being Team Tristan? Okay,
I'm not gonna.
That's gonna end.
Can I? But I was. I don't even want. If I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of the Doja Cat controversy, because there's a lot that goes into that.
I wasn't even going to go into that, because it's not about what she's done. It's literally about what she's marketed as.
Again, but I disagree that I don't think it's because she's marketed to white people or she's more palatable, because literally one of her songs from her most recent album, that's on the same album with Say So, that's on the same album with Streets. The chorus literally, don't play with my pussy, but don't play with my emotions. She literally says at one point in the song, where that nigga who don't play mind games at. So it's not like she's out here making all her music strictly.
Yeah, but that's on the album and not the single.
It is a single. There's a video for it. It's a single.
But you have to think about.
Hold on. Wait. Pause. It hasn't been marketed the same level as Say So and Streets.
It can't.
Marketing is marketing, bro.
Hold on. I'm the Doja Cat stan, so I feel like I'm the aficionado. Rules came out. It was one of the first singles to be released from the album. It was marketed as a single. The issue is it just didn't pop the way Say So popped, because Say So popped on TikTok. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Sometimes singles, they catch, sometimes they don't. I think
you're buying that. That's okay. We'll buy that.
I don't.
If you believe that,
right, girl. No.
I mean, if we're being honest,
honey, Paola's still real, honey.
The video for Rules is way more expensive and way more costly, at least in what it looks like, than the video for Say So. But
that's the question, Tristan. You're talking about people who are in the music industry for years and decades and years and decades. Do you not think that they put out music videos for people to find later?
I don't disagree with that, but my point that I was getting to is I don't think it's because her music is made for white people, because I've listened to all her music. I don't think that's what
I'm not talking about her music. I'm talking about her presentation. That's what she's marketed for.
I don't even think she's necessarily even.
I'm not saying just white people. My point is, she like honestly, I agree with Mo in that aspect. There is a very large part of her. Not even. Let's be clear. Let's just be honest. Not only is it her complexion and how she looks, but it's also like how she raps and the way she carries herself. It's very much white appealing. And I think part of the disagreement between, like, when you brought up artistic people, even though after I mentioned her, you agree, you didn't even bring up Megan Thee Stallion.
Yes, I did.
I said no. You didn't. I brought her up. No. Yeah. Wait.
Girls who
yes,
I know,
yes. But that's not what I'm talking about.
Like her.
Earlier in the conversation, before you made that comment, you brought up only her, and I said, Megan, and you was like, oh yeah, Megan too. My point is, that wasn't even a thought to you at that point. That is by design.
If I'm being completely honest, Megan is very artistic. I love her performances. Her videos are dope. They're super creative, super artistic. I love the last one with what's the song
Young Thug?
With Young Thug. I love that video.
Don't Stop.
Love that video. Love that video. It's brilliant, dope. Megan don't make.
She's not your cup of tea.
She don't.
But my point is this: Doja Cat's not my cup of tea, but she's on my radar. Megan, my point is, when you decided to compare rappers, you didn't even think about Megan Thee Stallion until I brought her up.
I think I brought her up before, but it's fine.
This is on record. We can go back and watch the video.
We
don't have to argue it. It's there or it's not. My point is this: there is an anti, and I hate to get into talk it out territory. There is definitely an anti-blackness that is apparent.
No,
and it's not just about.
No, it's not anti-black. I'm gonna tell you what it is. Legitimately, if you look at the city girls, if you look at Mulatto, if you look at light-skinned Keisha,
a light-skinned girl who appeals to black people, both of them to use his name.
My thing is when you listen to Mulatto, city girls, light-skinned Keisha,
Cash Doll, Dream Doll.
It all feels very much like the same thing. But then you have someone like Cupcake, right? Cupcake don't sound like them girls.
I don't even know
Cupcake don't feel like them girls. Flo Milli. The reason why Flo Milli is popping up is because Flo Milli don't.
But you can't bring up Flo Milli because Flo Milli's on the same time as the City Girls right now.
But it don't feel.
Erica Banks. And Cash Doll and Dream Doll.
I'm just saying that I feel like when you look at a Flo Milli and a Cupcake, the reason
Flo Milli to me sounds exactly like Bad Baby.
Okay.
Vocally. Their voice pitch is the same. The timbre.
Actually, Whoa Nikki sounds like they sound similar.
My point is saying this. My point is to say this. My point is this. There are women who sound like Flo Milli. My point is this: like when you're comparing these artists, there is a difference in their exposure. There is only one of these artists that is generally lauded as, oh my God, they're so artistic. And the only thing is that they're speaking from a standpoint of, well, I want to talk about being a flapper in the 20 and being a space alien. But if that's not what the fuck I want to talk about, how dare you tell me that that's not art? I don't identify. I'm not talking about Megan. I'm not even talking about Megan.
I know. I'm just saying, but Megan gets her 10s for being artistic. Cardi gets her 10s for being artistic.
But these are people who are backed by a bunch of white people. You have people like Mulatto, City, everybody we're naming who are generally backed by black people, and we're telling them that they need to do what these people who are backed by white people are doing.
They can do
and
whatever
we're saying,
they want to do.
Wait, I finished. My point is, we're saying that these artists who are backed by white people are artistic, and the ones who are not artistic. And that is rooted in anti-blackness, because the truth of it is we have these women who are of all different shades and complexion who are appealing to black people intentionally so, and we're telling them that they're not doing enough artistically.
I don't think it's anti-blackness, because if you have somebody,
you know why it is, because you got artists like Rhapsody. Rhapsody has a whole Grammy and nobody knows who she is.
I don't like Rhapsody. Don't make music for me, and that's all I can say. It's just not my.
But is it artistic?
Anything I've said this once, and I've said it twice.
Is it lauded as not your opinion? Is it lauded as artistic? Meaning the masses feel like, oh, she's the epitome of an artistic rapper today.
The masses don't even know who she is.
That's my point.
The only
time
the masses know.
We're talking. Rhapsody's the girl who I might be wrong. She's the one with the potatoes in her music video, right?
I think you can confuse with Tierra Whack.
I might be.
But the point that I'm trying to make is that nobody even brings her up until like you have these rapper guys that makes comments about, oh, these female rappers, they all sound the same. You know, they shouldn't be talking about pussy all the time. They should be like artists like Rhapsody. And I'm like, well, y'all not pushing Rhapsody to be mainstream. The only time you actually even bring her name up is to diss up the female rappers.
And I just feel like you have to consider, like, I guess you can ignore the truth of how they present these people, because I'm sorry, Doja Cat is not the first artist who's used like quirky raps to get ahead in the industry.
But her raps, I wouldn't even say her raps are even like quirky.
Whatever you want to call them. She's not the first person to play on the shit she's playing on, being nerdy, weird, out there, catchy, kitschy, quirky, nerdy. She's not the first one to do it. Yet she is the one who's lauded as artistic. Why? That's all I have to say about that.
I mean, and then
it's no flex on her.
But then the reverse could be said, like, niggas be wanting to give Doja a hard time because Doja.
I'm not giving Doja a hard time.
I didn't say you. I said niggas. I didn't say you. Hit dog will holler, but I didn't say.
So then you are saying me if you're saying hit dog will holler.
I'm speaking about the people.
You're talking to me, so of course I'm
speaking. I'm talking to both of y'all. We're on a podcast, right? So I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to the
right after I just made a comment, but okay.
At the same time, the people who do the people who do I'll put it this way. I just know from personal experience that when you are Black and you like things that aren't typical from Black people or that aren't expected from Black people, you can often get shit from Black people. And so one could argue that Doja Cat is in the same, because she is a little quirky and a little different and a little out there and oddball. Maybe the Black people don't want to give her her things, her tens across the board.
Okay.
So hold on. Can I Mo? Can I please Mo? And then I'll be short. I'll be short for once. I'll be short. The fact that you're saying be different from Black people is based.
I literally said things that are not typically.
Okay, so fine. The fact that you say things that are not typically of Black people describes Black people as if they are a monolith, which they are not. Well, let me finish. The fact that you said that insinuates that Black people are a monolith, and when they're not, they're rejected, which is a part of anti-Blackness. Go ahead, Mo.
Okay, woke. Okay.
It's not about being woke.
It's
the issue. But you're using wokeness as a way to act like what I said doesn't have validity.
And you act like Black culture isn't a thing, and there aren't things.
I'm not saying Black culture is not a thing, but you have three gay Black people on the screen right now who are very much different, which is a point in case of the fact that we are not a monolith. To say that there's one way to be Black, and if you don't act as that, you are shunned, and that's why I'm coming after her. That is based in anti-Blackness, because the idea is to say, hey, Black person. What I'm saying essentially is that when you connect things to whiteness and anti-Blackness, they are generally lauded as better, and you're literally proving my point.
In fact, I don't think that's why you were coming after her, but I'll give you a prime example. My cousin, who's right here in this comment section, she told y'all earlier that she likes country music. Like, she likes country music.
Okay.
Many people who are Black, and she will tell you, find this to be odd that she, as a Black woman, is so into country music, because typically within our culture, we are not the primary audience for country music. We are not the primary consumers of country music. So then when someone who is Black likes country music, we look at that as being odd or weird, or doesn't really, we don't understand it. I'm using we very generally. That's the same thing I mean when I say that, because Doja is a little bit different and a little bit off, and she's not giving you what's typical of not only female rappers, but what's not typical from rappers in general. I think from some people in the Black community, she gets the side eye and the shun. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
it's not
so
based on nothing. It's not about anti-Black. It's not about supremacy. It's literally okay.
But is it possible that two things can be true? Is it possible? Meaning that is it possible that she might get a slight blowback from the Black community because she's not considered urban enough? But is it also true that she's being marketed by mainstream pop standards, i.e., young white kids? Is it possible for two things to be true?
I mean, she's a
two things can be true. I agree.
No, I don't think anybody's doubting that she's being marketed as a.
Well, but answer the question: Can those two things be true at once?
Of course they can be. Why would they? Like I think that both things are true. I don't.
And that's all I'm trying to say. Listen, I'm a black gay nerd, science fiction, witchy, like all of that shit rolled up into one. I'm about as big as a fucking brick house, yet I'm also, yes, bitch. So I get the idea of being shunned because of differences. I'm not saying that this is why I'm stressing. I don't have a problem with her. I have a problem with the idea that she is the pinnacle of artistry when we're then discrediting all these other women who are doing artistic things because they're not doing random arbitrary shit, because they're doing consistent things. City Girls are going to talk about, if the City Girls were talking about anything other than what they were talking about, it would be inauthentic to me and therefore not art. If they talk about anything other than scamming niggas, fucking niggas, paying their bills by fucking niggas, like if they talk about anything else other than their experience, her, Doja Cat, being the quirky girl that she is, okay, it is expected for her to be kind of all over the place. That's why I actually said earlier in the comments, if that is her goal to be arbitrary, then I get her message. But if that's not her goal, I don't get it.
I think where me and you maybe just disagree on this. I don't think art isn't always personal. Sometimes art is just created for the hell of it being creative. It has nothing to do with you personally. It's your personal vision and your personal. But it's not.
How could I create anything while also ignoring everything about me?
No.
Let me. How could I create something?
Maybe I misunderstand when you say personal, but it always seems like when you mention personal, like you mean it has to be like about them or their lives or deep within them. Of course,
everything a creator creates is about them.
No,
because the only perspective. Look, Tristan, you cannot create something. You can't create anything from a perspective other than your own. You can't do it. You can't create something from my perspective. Even if you try to be in my shoes, you're going to be in my shoes from your perspective. You can't create it.
I just don't.
Right.
We can agree to disagree. We disagree.
We do.
Right.
Anyway,
sometimes art is just art. It's not that deep. It's not.
I guess to me, it doesn't make sense. An artist, you're the person who's creating the art. There's only one perspective that you have. You can channel other things, but you're channeling it through your perspective. If you're the hand, you can't cut your hand off and use Mo's hand. It's still your hand. Therefore, it is.
Well, actually, scientists have.
Girl, you know what I'm talking about. It's your brain. Fine. Let's get deeper. At the end of the day, anything you create is going to be created through your brain. Your brain. So anything you create, even if.
I said we should just wrap this up because it's real late at night. Okay. It's like 1:19.
So anyway, here's another exciting episode of Kiki / alleged / Duryea and Mo and Tristan arguing about half woke, half politically, half entertainment shit in the middle of.
I have not argued with anyone today on this podcast. I'm so proud of myself. I didn't get fight with nobody.
You know what? Just leave me out there, huh, Tristan? Just leave me out there at that cliff. Appreciate that, sir.
Listen.
Mind you, I was defending him half the damn show, okay. But
this is a show like any other where Duryea is out here like,
we stand Mo. We stand Mo. STAN stand.
Appreciate that. Well, if y'all stand so much, hey, America.
That cash app.
Hey, MOESMITHPRO. P as in Paul, RO, honey. You know, this is labor. You see, I'm out here laying down because I just knew that Duryea was gonna come with some more bullshit tonight. So I was like,
anybody out there in the comments who ever wants to be on my side, like I just feel so lonely out here. But you know what? I'm gonna stay out here because I feel.
But no, I mean, you haven't been all the way lonely because I mean, I was right there with you when you were talking about the mainstream. Right? It's just a simple.
You know where you should have been with me. We're gonna talk about it when we get off line. I can't wait to get off line
because I'm going to sleep. No, we're
gonna talk after we get off this line.
No,
anyway, listen.
We love y'all.
Everybody who's watching with us, especially Tristan's cousin, Javier, like everybody who hung out with us, Politically Provoked, Evelyn, Dimitri, We really fuck with y'all. We thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. Do me a favor. Go ahead and like this video. Share it so that people will wake up tomorrow and watch us just talk shit for 3.5 hours. Every Sunday, we are here every Sunday right after Married to Medicine. Even when Married to Medicine goes off, we will be here every Sunday at 10 o'clock. We also have all these other great things during the week. Tomorrow we have Geeking Out. Geeking Out, we're going to be talking about teen dramas. And of course, we're going to catch up on Falcon and the Winter. I know. We're going to catch up on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Tuesday. I haven't seen it, so I'm excited. Tuesday, we have the WAHR Power Hour, which is like our version of a power hour at a radio station. You can call in. There's a number to call in. Hit up Whoa Nelly Media on Facebook at WOENELLYMEDIA. That is hosted by DJ TGI Fridays. You also have Wednesday night. These are all at 8 o'clock. Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, you have a live figure drawing. The figures that we'll be drawing this week is Invincible in the Clouds. He's a superhero.
Nice. Yeah.
It's a brilliant show. Like if you watch it, it's a brilliant show.
And it's led by Matt Schneider. He's a great artist. If you want to just get some tips, if you're a hand drawer or sketcher, that's Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Thursday, of course, we have Talk It Out. This week's topic is pro-life versus pro-choice. Then after Talk It Out on Fridays, we have a hiatus. Saturdays, we have a hiatus. Sunday, we have, once again, back here with Sipping Kiki. We love you guys so much. We thank you guys for hanging out with us and being with us. Please like, share, comment, click the notification bell so that you are notified whenever we get new content. We love you guys so much. We'll see you next Sunday.